From buying your first box of minis and paint to being a lady or gentleman on the gaming table, we got you covered.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Dragon Slayers, Rexter's Lasers, Army Painter, and the Forge Hobbies and Games.
Investigated the town, went down to the burrows after we talked to the guys up at the church.
So, master class session here. I'm going to share this. They didn't hear a word we said. So, I'm going to go, welcome everybody to Glassbridge. We shall be leaving. I forgot to turn the sound bar up since sound thing. So, thank you, Ken, for letting me know that I didn't have it up. Otherwise, we would have recorded 3 hours of miming. It would have been the greatest D&D session ever.
You guys get to make up the words.
So one, it should be coming in clear. We did update it. We are going to do a recap. As I stated before, we'll interact a little with the chat. I may try not to interrupt too, so we can actually just enjoy the game. Enjoy the show. It's like watching a 3-hour Maverick movie because we're that awesome. With that, we're going to kick it over to Grant so we can do the recap.
All right. So last session we woke up after the aftermath of the skeleton horde coming in. We hit the church, got the kind of the down low there. Invested in a hot dog vendor. Then moved out. Went down to the burrows.
Barrows.
Burrows.
Burrows are where rabbits live. Barrows are where you keep dead bodies.
Got it. So we went down to the burrows, and looked around. Looked fine from one side completely, and then there was just a big old hole on the other side. Went inside. Not a whole lot of stealth. Walked in, found a old elf. So that had been summoning skeletons, like like old decrepit elf. Yeah, like so she had to be like ancient. And she kept summoning skeletons and has a grudge against the town for some reason. We haven't figured it out yet, but we do have her fancy endless pages of diary. And fought her, killed her. Then there was a big demon that popped out, cracked the altar so we couldn't use it. I forget the demon.
I don't know if he's a demon. Maybe
or devil.
A devil.
Okay, I don't remember what we
fiend,
said his name
nonetheless.
was. He was definitely a fiend. And then we moved out, came back up to the town, bought a fishing rod, Cartmaster 9000.
Remember that. Don't remember the name of the demon.
Yeah, don't remember the name of the demon, but I don't remember the Cartmaster 9000. And the 50 gold is spent on it. We reported back to the church, went back to the inn for the night, and are getting ready to head out with Henry Blanton back towards the city. and making a stop off at the sword tree first is the
Right.
plan. So I think. Did I
Right.
miss anything?
No, you're good. Does anyone remember the name of the fiend?
Yeah, Staticus the Cruel.
Atticus the Cruel.
Correct. Has everyone had a chance to look at the map? Everyone have a general idea of where they are in the world now that I've finally gotten you a map?
Yes.
So, remember the world is not really, I mean, I guess it's round, but it's the inside of round.
We live on the inside of a bubble.
You live on the inside of a bubble.
Yeah.
So there's not really a south, but the map is oriented in such a way as north being up, south being down. So if I give you a directional cue, like y'all are going south, what I really mean is according to the map. Because it's hard to give people directions.
Oh man, that ruins my immersion.
I might also give you directions. And in my mind, this is how people in the world would give directions to each other. It would be based off of landmarks. And obviously in this world, the biggest and most easy to find landmarks are the ice trees.
The big old ice trees. Yeah.
And there are 2 of them on this continent island.
Just 2?
Yes, just 2. If you look at the map, they are both in the center mountain range. That is not one. That is the sword tree.
It caught me off guard that it actually was a tree on the map.
The sword tree is very large. It's not as big as the ice trees.
So the
but
2
it
ice
is-
trees are in the mountain range.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
It is much bigger than a normal tree.
And the sword tree is. Got it.
So, like in the world, people would probably be like, keep the sword tree on your right and go that direction 20 miles, and then,
And then you'll find a road and you'll hit the city.
right. And that's probably how people would give directions.
See the ice trees.
I might eventually put color on this map, but for the moment, it is colorless.
And we're gonna, are we did the ice? Did we ever talk about the ice trees even having names? Did they name each one?
There's probably like local names for each one.
Because that would help with direction too.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
they probably would have.
Yeah.
If they use it as a direction marker, they definitely have.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
There are certainly names for the ice trees.
We got to say that based on me looking at the map, which I am so lost in. Yeah, we're right here.
Yeah.
If you use the names of the ice trees, they're both basically northwest.
Yeah,
Right.
from where you are now, they're both.
North, more north, little. So if you used either name, we'd be like,
Well, in almost all the directions that you could give someone based off of where the ice trees are would be applicable either way to you,
Because they're always north.
because both of them are on the same side of you right now.
It's fine.
Anyways, y'all are traveling back down the road that y'all came up, and y'all are continuing down the road that y'all were already following.
Oh, and Blanton specifically requested to travel with us because everything's getting dangerous.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And
What's
his
his name?
daughter, his
Granddaughter.
granddaughter, asked you to protect him, and you specifically got some insight that she's worried specifically about him, and she is staying behind.
He's going to be taken over by a demon.
I mean, so and she's staying behind. He'll send word to her, so we don't have to worry about her. For now, yeah.
Y'all would know that, like, in general, the roads in this area of the realm are pretty safe.
Yeah.
Like, you're not far from the capital.
Right.
Like, even though there's a war going on, the war is on another continent.
just hop, skip it away.
I kind of, in my mind, this continent that you're on is like the size of Australia.
Yeah.
So, like, it's fairly big, and y'all are pretty close to the capital. So, you're definitely in civilized lands.
So we're heading to Sydney.
Yep.
Okay. I agree.
Nathan doesn't know how big Australia is.
But you're doing
It's massive.
Just check it out.
It's big. It's not as big as Africa.
It's not as big as we think, but it is big.
So not New Zealand.
Not New Zealand.
Australia.
Much bigger than New Zealand.
You said it, so I just wanted to check.
Good
It's
to
like-
get perspective.
It's like what, 2 or 3 times the size of Texas? If putting it in Texas is
I don't know. It's hard to say.
units of
because-
Texas
Because of the
distortion.
distortion of regular maps.
Yeah, because if you all weren't aware, things in the southern hemisphere are actually bigger than current map projections
You
make
mean-
them look.
You mean Greenland's not as big as we think it is?
No.
I
more
plenty
you
of YouTube videos on that.
All right.
All right, let's go to D&D though.
Let's talk about maps more.
So this is the morning of.
This is the morning of. Y'all all wake up. I assume you all make your way downstairs.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my norm. Just go outside, enjoy the.
All right. Enjoy the glass, looking through, seeing the river, seeing some of the gardens. It's still kind of a mess, but after a whole day of like people working on it, like, I mean, it still looks like there was a battle here, but there's no dead bodies in the streets anymore. You know, someone has taken a broom to all the skeletons and like pushed them off into the river.
You're not catching any carp here. They got plenty of bones.
We got carp last night.
Before they got all the food, all the skeletons. To be fair, I don't know that carp would eat bones, but whatever. We're not gonna.
We're not putting anything in their mouth.
It's fine.
We're in a globe for a world. We don't know what'll happen here.
Maybe
They're magic.
they're magic carp.
Yeah, I mean, you're basing your carb on real reality. Are you serious?
Ice trees.
You see these?
All right. So,
I want the hardiest breakfast I could get.
yeah, I think that they would still be comping your food
Okay.
because you did kind of save all their lives. So, you know, there's bacon and there's eggs and there's hash browns and some weird kind of purpley looking carrot that y'all have never seen before.
Is it hash browns or hay fries?
Hash browns. And they're like smashed into patties, McDonald's style.
Okay. And a purplish.
A purplish looking carrot that you've never seen before. Tastes good.
What's it?
carrot?
See what it tastes like.
It tastes like a carrot, but it's a little bit sweeter.
Okay.
Just some local variety of heirloom carrot.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pick our mouths.
But yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Nope.
You're like, nope.
Nope.
You take one look at Moss's purple tongue and you're like, nope.
It's a negatory.
Negatory.
Although to be fair, as a dwarf, you're probably used to eating all kinds of like
Grubs.
unusual roots and like subterranean vegetables.
Fair, but I know what those are.
That's true.
Mushrooms.
I know what those are.
It's true.
All right.
Henry comes downstairs and we'll join you at breakfast.
So what time?
Is there coffee?
Coffee exists in the world. They do not have any here. It is a very expensive commodity.
He's gonna move all your money out your pockets into this game. That's a 50 gold cup of coffee.
I mean, I bought a 50 gold pitching rod, so.
He will get you down.
So you would know this because your parents live in Leor. But coffee actually comes from losing my words. It actually comes from Akir, the kingdom that everyone's
Fighting with.
everyone's at war with right now.
They're fighting over the coffee.
It's not about religion. It's about
It's about the coffee.
All right. So we finish up.
Yeah, Blanton's come down.
He goes to the side and has some final words with his granddaughter. She gives him a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and she says some stuff to him in his ear, and he starts walking back towards her.
Y'all all packed?
He gives y'all a nod, and he's like, "I'm ready when y'all are."
You're coming back, right? Like, I don't know what the sword tree thing is. I mean, I don't. I just want to ask, like, hey, if this is a one-off, or are we coming bringing you back? What's going on here?
No, I'm
Good point.
gonna stay there.
He's
He's
Without
going
you.
to stay there?
And then you're gonna send for your granddaughter later?
Yeah.
But why not? I don't really get it.
It's not safe for her to travel with me, which is why I wanted to travel with y'all. Y'all seem capable.
Okay. Well, that's fair. Then in that case, hold on.
You would know that people who go to the sword tree, if they actually follow through with the ritual, they don't leave.
They don't leave it.
Yeah.
They
Let me go grab my bags. I thought we were coming back, so.
We're gonna go.
Not only do they not leave, they don't seem to want to leave.
Are there people hunting you or something?
It's a long story. I'll tell you about it on the way. I don't really want to talk about it. But long story short, there might be people looking for me. I don't know for sure.
So then we're putting ourselves in danger.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought I made that clear.
No one told me
He
you're
talked
being
about it
hunted.
with you.
And I was like, Moss is like, yeah, we talked about this.
Okay.
I mean, are you scared of being haunted?
I mean,
I mean,
I don't
If
have
it
to
makes you feel
fight,
better, it'll most likely only be one person.
but you're scared of them.
He's also an old man. No offense,
I mean, that's the crux of the problem.
right? Yeah.
In my prime, I wouldn't have been worried about the thing, but he gives kind of like a gesture with his hands, like he doesn't know what to say. But you kind of can get a sense of like, this is what life is now. Is kind of the gesture he's making. Like I'm old and
we're
I'm
on the
ready
way
to
to
help.
the capital. It doesn't look like it's going to be that far off.
It's about half a
Is
day.
it half a day out of our way?
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I mean, it's
if
fine.
you get there, they would give you lodging.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's no worries. I
Oh.
just want to
there's
completely
actually
understand
lodging
the
at this
situation.
Yeah,
No,
there's
it's a whole monastery.
yeah, there's like a monastery.
oh, I thought we literally were going to a tree.
No, it's
I mean,
it's
there is a literal tree, but there is a monastery there.
Nobody's really explained
No,
there's sword trees, so I'm going.
so it is so the sword tree is a massive tree surrounded by a monastery where warriors go to just retire.
Oh,
And
okay.
they put their swords into the ground next to the tree, and that's why they call it the sword tree.
That's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be like me saying, "Hey, we're going to the land of the fox," and y'all think there's a bunch of foxes running around.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't think there's a bunch of foxes running around.
What's the land of the fox?
Well, yeah, because of the guy that
The
lives
lands
there.
of the king of the foxes. But yes.
I mean, like,
I'm just using.
I expect there to be foxes, yeah, but same with the sword tree. You expect there to be a tree, you expect it to be a sword.
Oh, is
You
it
got
not a
both.
tree that looks like a sword?
No, or it could be a. I mean, it's not like it's a sword made out of a like a chair made out of a sword.
Chair made out of a sword?
That would be.
That's a ridiculous idea.
That's a
You would
ridiculous.
cut
Why
yourself
would
all the
anybody
time.
do that? Dumb as dirt.
All right. So let me get my stuff. I'll be back down in a minute.
Okay.
I'll
Be
up
all
and
right.
finish
Do you
it up.
have any questions that you want to know about the sword trade that you would
Could
obviously
just
Like
know?
that, I would know. Yeah. So like, do I'm obviously
Very
aware of the
least we can see the
ceremony.
sword.
I'm aware
At least we get to see
of
what the sword tree looks like.
So it's
the
not
other
so much a
part of the
ceremony,
but the-
so much as like
the ritual of
a ritual. Yeah,
yeah, putting your burdens down and trying to move on with your life.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you've obviously never done it,
Yeah.
and people don't really talk about it. You've seen people do it.
Yes.
And it's kind of an unspoken rule that, like, when somebody is coming to do it, you don't mess with them
Yeah.
until after they're done.
Yeah.
It's like, nope.
Yep,
So,
and then they're like out of play once they're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
you would expect that no one is going to really mess with you or talk to you or get in your way, or even really probably even speak to you until
like, while
after
you're doing
he
your
is
pilgrimage.
after he has done his thing, and then the other monks might come out and talk to you.
Like I've seen it done. Like you said, haven't done it myself.
It's kind of like a personal thing.
It's a very personal.
Yeah, exactly.
You're giving up your way of life for another one.
I go up to Penelope and I'll tell her, I guess I'm headed to the sword tree today. I will see you when I see you.
She gives you a hug.
Hug her back.
Asks if you need anything.
Some rations would be great.
Yeah, she'll go like get you some salt beef, some dried apples, and she gives it to you. You remember there are rules about what happens when people give you things.
Yeah, I give her something back.
For the fancy ring.
I'm going to give her. I'm just gonna give her some silver pieces.
I mean, that is a thing. He would be okay with that. She says, "Oh no, you don't have to give me anything."
I know, but Think of it as a gift.
She gives you another hug. Says thank you.
Cool.
He has to give a hug back.
Well, yeah.
He was given a hug, so he's.
Yeah. No, it's
Is this like
everything.
just a cycle?
Well, I mean, that means you have to come back another day and give it back. You know,
So
it's like one of those things.
Not that y'all know anything
We're
about
just
this,
messing around.
but a lot of it is the perception, his own perception of whether he sees it as someone giving him something or not.
Ah,
That's interesting.
I thought it was a tiefling.
You're over there talking to
Not just
Mr.
a
Blant.
cat. This is all not in character.
Yeah, this is just us goofing off.
Yeah, because to you watching, she gave him some food and he paid her for it.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Maybe he paid her slightly too much, but at the same time,
Like,
she's his aunt.
I was gonna say, like, wait, your aunt charges you money?
50 gold fishing.
Like, he wouldn't even know it.
comes with no lures.
Doesn't need a lure. It's
No,
fantastic.
it has the little tackle box.
You said it has everything
yeah,
I need.
it's got everything it needs.
Yeah.
Did you actually ask me that?
Yes. I was like, so your aunt overcharges you for food?
No, she's been very kind the last couple days, and you know,
It has been nice.
I'd be kind enough to give her some money today.
She's good people.
She's good people.
Appreciate that.
You're good people.
I wouldn't go there.
Henry,
Are you ready to go, Henry? Yeah.
Are you already?
Yeah.
He's a
Come
pretty
back.
stoic guy. A
He
few
come back
words.
down? Yeah.
Yeah, you come back down. Was there anything you were doing while everyone else was away?
No, I just making sure I got everything.
Alright.
And I'm going to pull my dagger one more time just to see if I can get
Roll
it
me
out
a
of
strength check.
if I can get it out of the window one last time. Ooh. Oh, I'm at -2. It puts me at a 16.
No, it's still
Okay.
stuck.
He goes, ooh, aw.
You rolled like a 20 to stick it in there. That's going to be a new feature of the inn. Oh, yeah. Well, we have the dagger room available.
You gotta charge him an extra buck.
That's fine. All right. Yeah, I come back downstairs, look at everybody. I'm like, all right, what pace do you move at, sir?
Real quick. There were two things that you forgot in your recap. Small things. One, the priest asked you,
Patrick.
Pedro, asked you to take a report back to your aspect. You would have done that anyways, but he did have a specific request that they send out a priest.
All in the report.
For somebody to like
Yeah.
Consecrate.
But the
Bar.
Baron of Glassbridge also asked to give you two letters. One is an introduction letter, and one is a letter for. It's kind of vaguely addressed, like to whom it may concern at the court.
Whoever's in charge.
Yeah, because he it's like to whoever it may concern at the court. But you have a letter of introduction to get you into court at the capital,
Mhm.
and then another letter for y'all to deliver to somebody who could get him help.
And into the tournament.
I mean, it would put you in the right group of people to inquire.
Grant in his tournament.
So does he have a horse?
Yeah.
Henry
We're
does not have a
walking.
horse.
Yeah, we're walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, no, it's what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
He's wearing his armor. He's got his sword on his back, and he's got like a satchel across his body. And he's like, this is all I got. We're only a day and a half away, so I'm just gonna leave everything else here.
Sounds good.
I'm ready to roll.
And he just starts
Are
walking.
you sure you don't need us to carry anything? That's a lot for her to carry to come up after you do not come back.
Oh well, she's got money. She can buy a wagon.
Okay.
All
Just
right.
want to make sure. I mean, you got a turtle that'll carry anything for you.
Really? Anything, huh?
Just about.
He just kind of shrugs and keeps going. Like he doesn't know what to make with that information.
I
I thought he was going to tell a joke, but then he just kind of stopped. That was like, all right.
I am definitely the strongest one, and I have double the carry weight. So yeah.
I'm not sure what those things you just said meant, but
I don't know what that means. I lift big things.
doubled the carry weight, huh?
Yeah.
So y'all are walking, and I want you to imagine this in your head, right? Because you're on the inside of a bubble. So as you're walking out of Glassbridge, the road goes forward and curves up like that.
So we can kind of like see the sword tree out there.
So there is a interesting phenomenon here where there's kind of like a haze in the air.
Eventually it'd curve out and you'd see clouds.
Yeah, if you look far enough, you can see clouds and things, And at night, y'all can even see really bright cities and lights and things farther away. But there is kind of like a haze where things that are far enough away, you can't really make them out.
That's fair enough.
As the day goes on, you can kind of start to see, you know, a foresty area, because where you're going through now is mostly farmlands, and what isn't farms is like little copses of woods and scrub and things like that. Nothing that looks untamed or dangerous. It's just like, you know, maybe they haven't plowed this area in a while.
Rural?
I hate that word too.
Rural.
That word messes me up.
Yeah, rural.
Rural. It's rural. Yes.
Rural. Yeah.
I hate
And
that word. Terrible.
yeah, it's a lot of farms, but they're really, and especially as you stay
Like
closer to
cottage.
Glassbridge. As you get further away from Glassbridge, there are less
Like
farms.
less, like clean, like
So,
less
like,
undergrowth.
Yeah.
Or more undergrowth. And
But
What,
what's
What's the normal farm look like? Is it like, are they more?
Here,
what's up?
so you've
Guys?
probably, have you traveled a lot, or is this one of your first missions out of the capital?
I've definitely spilled some blood, so definitely not the first time.
Okay, have you been far from the capital?
They still on the continent.
Okay. So you would know that this is not one of the most fertile areas. Those areas are areas that are south of the capital. That's kind of where the breadbasket is. But this area is still good soil. It's a nice temperate climate. And remember, there is no seasons, so it's temperate year round.
Be good for orchards and stuff, kind of thing.
Yeah, so you see, you know, apple orchards, and you see some farms, but in general, the farms that you're looking at are going to be like a house, maybe a barn, and then just a lot of open land, or maybe a house and a barn and an orchard, you know, and then there's not going to be anything for a long ways.
Sure, but what do they find? They got
Okay. Like I said,
domesticated animals.
there's orchards. There are some domesticated animals. It seems like for the most part, what they're growing here is like wheat. You see some corn. You see some like potatoes. Basically, think about this as if you were strolling through like Idaho or Nebraska or something. This is the kind of stuff that they would be growing there.
Got it.
So it's kind of boring, you know.
Henry's giving us the lesson.
Definitely
No,
not
just
Henry.
messing around.
Henry's not talking. Like,
He's just one.
unless you're talking to him, he's just walking, and he like takes long strides, and he walks reasonably fast.
He's moving with a purpose.
Yeah, he's not going slow.
He's got somewhere to be.
And that's kind of how the day starts. Is just going through these more or less sporadic farms. There's more of them the closer you are to Glassbridge, and the further you away, the more sporadic they get, with bits of like small forest and scrub and things like that. And then it starts to rain.
Did we ever hit like? I know there's the one big river, but is there any like random ponds and stuff, or is it just the rivers for water sources?
There's probably some, like, in Texas we call them tanks.
Yeah.
Like watering holes for animals. But as far as like naturally occurring ponds and things like, no.
Got it.
Not here.
Well, I was just general.
There's only really one large lake on this continent, and it rests in like the valley in between the two. It's really one mountain range, but there's like a valley in between two parts of the mountain range.
That dark spot.
That's the big dark spot.
Big dark spot
Kind
where
of
the
in the
hills
middle.
are.
Yeah. That's really the only large, like, worth putting on a continent-sized map lake.
Got it.
Yeah. Anyone want to talk to Henry before the rain starts, or
Yeah.
talk to each other before the rain starts? Now's the time.
So, Henry, who we watching out for? I got my eyes over here. I point to Otto.
He's making that noise. He's going. He takes a deep breath and he starts blowing it out. Roll Roll me a persuasion check. Actually, everybody roll me a persuasion check.
Everybody.
Hey, y'all guys don't need to roll. I got this. 23.
8.
Come on, pencil.
That's 18.
5. I'm kind of short. I'm not up to his height.
He's under.
So this roll is kind of in general how like he's trying to figure out how much to tell you.
It's a group check.
And he's making that sound, and you can tell just from them making that sound, like he's trying to figure out how much to tell you. He says he summons the mask,
Like, does it
and by summoning the mask, he doesn't actually do anything; it just appears on his face. Does anyone look him in the face? I guess you're talking.
Yeah.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
I've done this before. I don't look directly at it.
19.
You pass.
Sorry, 21.
Yeah, you pass. But you feel for a brief moment, you feel afraid of him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of like master yourself, and you're like, he's an old guy in a suit of armor. I'm okay. He says,
This guy.
so this mask, he gestures to the mask. There are no straps holding the mask on. It's covered in scratches. The mask itself is white. The scratches that are black. And there's no mouth hole, just eye holes. And it almost seems form-fitting to his face. He says, this mask is a thing that people want. But I can't get rid of it on my own. It is bonded to me. So that's why I'm going to the sword tree. Because you would know that the sword tree, in addition to like letting you break oaths, also can like end spell effects that are on you and like other things.
Yeah.
People want this mask, and I can't just get rid of it because it's bonded to me. And there might be people who are willing to kill me to get it.
Seems kind of dangerous, the mask. It's got that heebie-jeebie thing going on with it.
It has advantages, or at least I thought so once.
So you regret ever putting on that mask? Or are you alive today because of it?
Super.
I mean, do you say that?
It's super personal.
He stares up at the sky, and he gets kind of the mask disappears.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to make a gesture or anything; it just disappears. And he says, "In some ways, I am what I am today because of it. For all the good and for all the bad. I was a mercenary for many years, and the mask kept me alive and let me put food on my family's table. But at the same time, it drew attention that maybe I would have been better without. And I've had to kill to keep it. And I honestly don't know if my life is better with it or without it. But at this stage in my life, I think I can confidently say I'm better without it."
Who'd you kill to get it?
Well, that's a story. So
A day and a half.
at this point, it starts raining. But Henry doesn't stop talking or stop walking. He just assumes that y'all are going to continue to walk with him in the rain.
Fair enough.
You're like, it's raining, guys.
No, that's fine, but I start like looking around too. Like keeping an eye out, like
Roll me a perception check.
while we're going.
I always assumed that Autumn is always watching around.
What?
4.
Raining.
It's raining.
Generally,
You're looking around, you're getting water in your
I'm
eyes.
like, it's raining.
Do you want to roll a perception check?
yeah, I'm generally always looking. That's but I rolled terribly, so 7.
In the distance, there's some farmers. No one else is on the road with you.
We're safe.
Safe as can be.
Yeah.
He says, I was in my 20s and I was in Small Kingdoms, which y'all would know until recently was really the only place that saw sustained fighting.
Right.
He says, I can't even remember what lord I was working for at the time. We worked for so many different people. And someone came to kill this guy, and I just happened to be there and the only one in the room with him. And we fought one-on-one, just me and him. That lord, all I really remember about the guy was he was fat. He hid under his bed, or at least tried to fit under his bed. And me and this guy fought, and I killed him. And he was wearing this thing when he came in. And after I killed him, it bonded to me.
Not even a choice.
No, just happened. I know other people that have them, or know of other people, and I've heard stories. And you did roll a check, so you do know most of this information, not his personal information, but how this stuff kind of in general works. He says, but it is possible to, under the right scenario, to just pick one up and get bonded to it.
Interesting.
If the person who was wearing it died of natural causes, or something like that, outside of a fight.
So, someone made a set of these masks for a circle of people at one point, and from thence they spread out all over the lands.
My understanding, there's 100 of them. This all lines up with what you know, and he's not telling
A lie?
Yeah, he's not lying. He's also, whether he doesn't know everything, you know a little bit more than he does about, the lore of the masks. Or at least you know a little bit more than what he's telling.
Pretty cool.
Are they elf made? Human made? Dwarven made?
They just are, as far as I know, yeah. One of those things from ages long past.
Neat.
Yep. Neat is a
not,
word
I was
for
gonna
it.
say neat, not neat.
Hey.
Nothing to do about
When
it.
it was quickly up and I quickly glanced, I noticed you had markings. Is that your kill tally?
He's quiet for a while longer, and he says, no, it's my rank. There's 100 masks. The 100th mask has 100 marks.
Yeah.
Number 1 has 1. Are you asking him?
Well, I don't remember.
That
because
you-
the only thing I remember about the mask is, oh shit!
I think
So,
is this like a headband samurai thing where the lower rank guy is coming to challenge the higher rank guy to try to get his mask because he wants to be number 1 rank?
Other way around, but yeah.
so somebody wants to be
Number 1 would be best.
Yeah.
I don't remember saying
You don't want to make an educated guess, you can roll me a perception check.
15.
More than 40, less than 60.
Cool.
It's like a ranking system, huh?
Yeah, and
But what happens? So, if you kill the guy with a number above yours, what happens to the mask that you had?
well, so if I killed someone who had a higher rank than me, I would take his place.
Yeah.
And if he was dead, his mask would go to whoever was the first person to pick it up. And my mask would change.
Okay.
Neat.
There's always 100 of them.
There's always 100.
Just up here. That's spooky. Hey, have you seen a jar like this? He just changes the subject on the fly. Yeah. Pulls the jar out.
He says, no.
Me neither. And puts it back.
I've seen stuff like that before, but never a jar.
Stuff.
Well, I mean, you find stuff like this all over the place, like weird,
Not magic, but looks magic.
yeah,
Yeah.
weird old stuff.
I saw some of that.
So this person that's coming after you, does he have a mask?
Well, see, I don't know if anyone's coming after me, but there's always the chance that someone, especially coming after me, since I'm probably easy pickings for someone right now.
Yeah. I watched you kill some skeletons.
Yeah,
I'm confused. Was that an insult?
he doesn't say anything. He just says, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Oh no, he killed more than y'all.
Right, but like it was just like the way he said it was just like
No, I wouldn't
I
mention
watched
it.
you kill some skeletons. I know your shit.
Yeah, like, I know he's good to do what he can do. That's no bones about it.
Look, there are rules about how this works. In order to take my place, it has to be a fair, he makes quotation marks in the air, one-on-one fight.
Yeah.
So if I'm with people,
Can't be one all.
there's a good chance that they won't risk it, because even if they did kill me, if the four of you were here, it might not be fair and they wouldn't get it.
I got you back.
So just by traveling with y'all, it's a bit of a deterrent.
Lost count too.
Though only with
So-
my granddaughter, they might just
Kill her first.
and get her out of the way.
What if like 5 people with
Well, then they
They
could
tend
be
not to
standing around.
cooperate.
Yeah. Is there something that compels you to kill the other people? Like, what's number one get?
Well, see, here's the thing.
It's a secret society, isn't
You
it?
don't actually have to kill the person to take their place. You just have to beat them.
there's a big
Beat them at like what? Rock, paper, scissors?
No, in a fair
in a
fight.
fight. He already said that.
Like, is that so? Like, you guys can agree to terms beforehand?
No, it's complicated. Like, you could tell he's like struggling to convey ideas that he doesn't fully like understand himself. But he's like, so the masks themselves seem to have some kind of intelligence. It's not like they talk or anything, but like they seem to have some idea about like what's fair and what's honorable and what's not. And it's not like they tell us, or if they never told me, but
You know.
yeah, you kind of know, like shooting someone 3 streets away with a crossbow wouldn't be fair.
Nothing from hiding.
But jumping out at somebody and surprising them and killing them in melee might be fair as long as they know you're there before you stab them. He kind of like shrugs his shoulders at you like he doesn't really understand.
Yeah, nah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
He
It's
says
weird.
they seem to have their own like code
Mm-hmm.
of what's okay and what's not okay.
Ah,
They don't really like magic.
okay. Oh, okay.
So like I know that for a fact. Killing someone with magic doesn't work, it doesn't count. And I've known a few use the word known, and like you kind of get the sense that like known means probably fought.
Mhm.
A few that or were archers or crossbowmen that had masks. So it's not like they dislike ranged weaponry altogether. But it's hard. Maybe each mask has its own thought on what's fair. I don't know.
Interesting.
How hard?
So the
It's raining pretty hard.
Like
Yeah, a crack of lightning comes down and
so it's
hits a tree in a neighboring field.
boom.
Yeah.
Explode the tree.
Yeah.
you might want to take off your medal.
Yeah, he takes off his armor.
Terrible.
Why
Yeah.
he's still walking?
I mean, he would stop for 10 minutes and take off his armor.
Just checking. He's been very stoic. Just
You guys want to just like wait out the rain a little bit, then keep traveling?
I would rather we keep going.
Well, they're ready.
Okay.
Yeah, he takes off his armor and he pulls out like a burlap sack out of his little satchel and puts all the armor in it. And then he carries it, but he tries to like carry it down lower. So he's at least not 6.5 feet tall of metal. It's at least like lower down.
This is a good time for the guy to strike you now.
I
Isn't
was
it?
like, what are you doing here? Like, are you really setting him up to get ambushed?
Nah, lightning. Not the. It's
Just another
that simple.
lightning strike that comes down in another field.
Yeah, this is pretty close to us. This is not.
You hear
Not good
the sound
vibes.
of terrified cows as they're running around in the field.
I was trying, it took me forever to figure out what you were doing, like lower down. I was like, what? And I was like, oh, because he's big.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. The lightning rods here.
Yeah, he's trying not to be a lightning rod. He takes his sword off of his back and he's carrying it lower down
So
too.
as we're going forward, can we see where the, like, in normal world, you can see rain start and stop, and this thing here, are we able to see where the rain stops?
No, actually, because of this, the way this world works, it looks like the rain just goes forever.
I've had one of those things.
Because like it does like this. So like if this is the ground,
Yeah.
the rain does like that.
Well,
Is
at
it-
some point,
is
it's
it
going
coming
more
from
like
clouds?
away from us.
Uh-huh.
Is it coming from clouds? Can we tell
Yeah.
if it's coming from clouds?
Yeah, you can see the clouds.
Which way are the clouds moving?
That's a good question. The clouds are moving towards Glassbridge. So you're walking into the storm.
Cool.
When's the last time thunder struck?
Just now.
Okay, so we're in the center of it. Okay.
The reasonable assumption.
Okay.
You want to roll a survival check? See if you can really predict how long you're going to be in the rain for.
So I've got good. I got good survival.
That's fine.
If you want to do a survival check, you can.
That's a 5. I don't know.
Good with them. No,
I just know time.
gives me a 15.
15?
Yeah.
You think you probably have a couple of hours of rain still ahead
And
of you.
as you say, we might as well just keep walking. This ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he says, in answer to your question earlier, like, you don't have to kill people to get the mask, you just have to beat them. And just like what's a fair fight, beating is also something that it seems like the masks decide for themselves what is considered a successful fight.
Like, if the
Although
guy
they do
hurt-
seem to universally agree that killing somebody counts.
Yeah. Or like somebody just gives like if they admit defeat. Defeat.
I guess, but I'm just like, I don't get like what's like. Why do you want? Why does the mask want to be number one?
No, the higher rank you are, the more powers your mask has.
Ah, okay, that makes a little more sense. Okay, I get it.
For instance, this mask makes people afraid who look at it.
Obviously.
Makes me faster and a little stronger, which helps compensate for the fact I've gotten older. The only reason I've really been able to continue to do this as long as I have. Just keep on trudging.
Yeah.
You travel for another 3 hours. It's now midday.
Still storming.
Storm's starting to get, like, let up. You've passed through a very small village at this point. Like, small. And by that I mean, like, it's really a collection of farms where they decided to put all of their houses near each other. Right? So it's maybe like 10 families that have all put their houses, like, at one end of their field so that all the houses are near each other and on the road.
Still not a whole lot of like wildlife and
I
random
mean,
stuff.
You've seen some, like, deer, like, run ahead through the woods. You've seen birds. You haven't seen anything dangerous or out of the ordinary. Like, you're in one of the most, like, civilized areas of the country, right?
No like dire bunnies or anything.
You saw a jackalope, but that was it.
No burrows. Or...
No burrows.
No burrows.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, the barrows that were at Glassbridge, you haven't seen anything like that.
Just the one.
Just there. I mean, there wasn't just one at Glassbridge. There were several. There was one really big one.
Ah.
We should have checked the others for holes.
Have we found Zagara?
Hopefully.
I mean, you'll follow the tracks. The tracks
Yeah.
don't go anywhere.
We did our job. Don't you
So
worry.
if so how long until we get to the turn?
To the turn, you're not there yet.
I mean, is it achievable in the day trip, a half a day trip to the turn?
That would probably be about the end of your day. Would be making it to that turn.
We make it to the turn.
Still got to.
So,
Anything y'all want to do at the little village? Just pass through it.
was there? Oh no, I didn't know we even.
He said little tiny 10-man
10 family.
building. Yeah, 10. Nothing much.
You see some like moms and little kids like doing chores in the front yards, stuff like that.
In the rain.
I mean, work doesn't stop.
Gotta get stuff done.
They ain't drying clothes in the rain.
No, they're not drying clothes in the
Might
rain,
be washed.
but they're like, feeding the chickens and doing stuff like that.
Everybody's taking a bath.
Everyone's out there with soap.
No, continue along.
All right.
We'll look over and ask. So how does the church treat you being the way that you are? From your background. Like I know from an elf
The
standpoint.
church
people-
loves me. Okay. Get along great. Church welcome me all. Even welcome you.
I know.
So how about if you want to learn a little bit more about being in the ways of the one, I got you.
I got that. I'm just trying to look at the background. Like, elves
Background.
lived here, then humans take over, and then, what's your thoughts on all that is?
It is.
Or do you know the history of this country?
I know the history.
I mean, I didn't know if you know the history, or you
No.
know the church history.
I know where my ma's side came from.
Okay. Just wondered. I mean, what is your thoughts? Do you take your mom's side? Take your dad's side?
It's not a side to take.
There's the one side.
Systemically, you have never experienced any racism within the church. Outside the church, yes. Maybe even the occasional individual inside the church.
Mm-hmm.
Systemically, no. And in fact, the church heavily looks down upon that.
I'm just wondering.
Racism
I
bad.
mean, it's
As long as you worship the same religion, the church likes you.
Just wondering.
Go inside check.
Can I roll an insight check?
Yeah.
Oh,
Roll a persuasion or deception check.
No, just tell them exactly what I want to tell them, which will be true.
I mean, it's up to you, man. It's your story.
Oh, it's only a 10.
There's hesitance. There's stuff clicking back here in the background working, and he doesn't have any words for it.
figuring it
Henry just.
I was gonna say, Henry, you anything with the church?
I mean, I've worked for the church on occasion, but never very long.
Not
Honestly-
it was never really my thing either.
It just flew over my head.
Okay.
He says, "No offense."
I was going to say that would almost probably
I mean,
ask you.
it should be over your head.
He actually gives you a little spot. And you notice that actually, when you say that, he probably would give you a little smile, and he would probably actually he would probably do the sign, So you know that he is probably a worshiper, but
Mhm.
that's
About
It's the norm.
yeah.
Normal level of worship.
It would be more surprising if he wasn't some form of worshiper.
Mhm.
Okay.
But he doesn't make a big deal out of it. He says, "I worked for the church, but I was never. It was a little over my head. And the things that they always wanted me to do were never really the kinds of things that I was suited for.
Like what?
Well, like guard duty, protecting villagers, caravan guard, stuff like that.
fancy assassins.
Sounds
No,
boring.
I-
The life of a mercenary. Sounds
I
like
was
you-
always more of a into the melee kind of guy. Especially when I was younger. I couldn't sit still long enough to guard a building.
understandable.
And he just keeps walking.
Well, we just moseying.
About 2:00 ish, the rain stops.
Is it a dead stop or is it trickle
It
off?
just trickles off. It's really humid now.
I pull out a hot dog and eat it.
It's a cold hot dog.
Cold hot.
Yeah, it's like it's after lunch now. So if y'all want to stop and
Eat
eat
on the
lunch,
road.
yeah, or eat while you walk.
Cold hot dogs.
Henry would say if y'all don't mind eat while you walk,
Oh, my
save a little
I
time.
don't mind getting there. You seem eager to get to this place, so I'm fine with it.
My character does take off his shirt and start wringing it out from the water just to
What do you look like without a shirt on?
just imagine like a swimmer's body.
I ask because you have interesting physiology.
Yeah. Or you
Right,
have.
because you're like
Half
halfway.
being
Are you like
all
halfway
way
down the
down?
middle? You know, like what's up?
Oh yeah.
Just like straight down the middle, or does it like taper in a more organic way?
Yeah. Or are we like straight cut? Like there's a line.
Fade in and out.
Yeah, it's
Little
just down the
wavy.
line.
Just straight down the middle.
Straight down the middle, two different colors.
It's almost like your two halves
Yeah.
put
Yeah,
together.
somebody like grafted them together. Yep.
Like, how'd that happen? Huh? Weird. Weird things. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Like, is this guy a real thing, or did someone just turn a turtle into a man?
He's tiefling elf, straight down the middle.
Half of him looks like an elf. Half of him looks like a tiefling. Straight down the middle. Yeah. Get that in your brain.
Yep. And then this guy's over here telling me I'm a science experiment.
You never seen a turtle before?
Have you
Nah.
ever seen a turtle before?
Ah, have you?
Ah, crap! I left Pebble.
Oh no, you dropped him right there.
Just
No, he's right there behind you. You just dropped him.
Nope.
Nope.
He's not.
Just out of nowhere.
Putting that in my notes.
Yep. Pebble lives in the tavern now.
Up and down the bar.
Interesting.
So you never seen a turtle before. You seen a turtle before?
I've seen turtles before.
Yeah. We're around. There's not a lot of us.
I've never seen one that looks like you.
Man, what's that supposed to mean?
Well, I mean, generally their shells are kind of less spiky,
Well, I'm
and they all the ones I've seen have, no offense, they've kind of had like necks.
it's all muscle.
I mean,
Big
I mean, no
guy.
offense, no offense.
Uh-huh.
I'm not an expert.
I'm a snapping breed. You see, that's what they call me, snap jaws.
I mean, that
They-
makes sense.
They
Like,
the
the
other
other
turtles. The other turtles. You
Oh,
got
okay.
your soft shells, and then you got your normals, and then you got your the snap jaws. There you go.
so where's the rest of your family? Like, where's the rest of the turtles?
I don't know.
Wait, so you haven't-
Oh, we talked about this. Oh, you were drunk.
This is before the undead?
Yes.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. You were drunk. We talked about
I
this.
don't remember.
Yeah. No, I was hatched at the monastery.
Yeah.
As an egg.
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay, so
yeah,
all
it was-
your stuff is like from what other people told you.
Yeah, or the
Not from
other
other
turtles
turtles.
I've run into. Yeah.
Oh, you've read. Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's like I've seen other turtles.
If you say so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to think you've just met other turtles,
Yes. No.
and
100%.
you think they're turtles.
No. Done. Like that's why I had Pebble. Like there is only one me.
He's
But, yeah.
convinced that Pebble was a turtle.
It's just a soft shell.
He starts describing what other turtles look like, and you're like, wait a minute, they walk on all fours,
Yeah.
and
They don't. They talk to you.
Yeah, we talk. They're real slow, but they talk. Pebble was a great philosopher.
Henry's giving you a look like,
What's this? Give me one of Pebble's favorite quotes.
Take
he
everything.
pulls out his notebook.
Take everything with time. You'll get there eventually.
All right.
Yeah.
By the great philosopher Pebble.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna run into a book like later that's gonna be entitled "The Great Philosophies of Pebble." You're gonna be like, "See, I told you he was a great
I was
philosopher."
like, what? That's great. Pebble Esquire.
You're gonna see a book signing. Pebble will be in there signing books.
Next time we come swing by the tavern in Glassbridge, Pebble's got a bookstore.
About this time, you're describing what all the other portals look like. Y'all hear some noises up ahead.
Like,
And you can see across the road is a giant tree. There's just a giant tree laying all across the
like
road.
it's fallen.
Yeah.
And you can't get out.
Nah, is this one of those traps?
You've wandered into like one of those copse areas where there's more trees and stuff on either side of the road and less farms. And there's just a big tree laying down over the middle of the road. All
That's
It's just it's the thing they always do out here in these woods.
yeah. Everybody just
you can hear voices.
yeah. Everybody's just like trap.
All right, let's get ready.
Henry puts up his hands and says, "Let me put my armor back on."
Yeah, that's good. I'll help you out with that.
Yeah. So 5 minutes later,
So we're just like okay.
All right, do you want to try to like circle around there, or just want to just go through,
Well, actually,
convince them to
hold on.
stop?
I'm gonna have my familiar fly up
Oh.
at a nice distance,
Okay,
like a normal bird.
yeah.
normal
Just
owl
try-
daylight.
Just try to get me. And just try to get a visual of things without being too.
Roll me a perception check for your owl.
I can use it for that.
It's Al's got a stat line of like a 13.
I'm gonna guess it's +1.
You rolled a 3. That's what I said. That's what
It
13.
doesn't see a
Yeah.
dang thing.
So it sees a wagon and stuff running around the wagon.
I'll convey that to the group.
Oh, someone needs help up there then.
I mean,
Okay, I start running.
okay.
Henry looks at the rest of y'all.
I
and is
got-
like, are we going with
I
him?
think.
Wait,
Yeah.
what would you do in this, Henry? You've been around longer than most.
I mean, I would probably be more cautious, but
Yeah.
he's already gone. He's
No, I'm staying back a little bit.
I'm gonna hit him
Hit who?
as he takes off running. Instead of yelling, probably gonna
Hit me
miss.
with a message rock or something.
Sending stuff. Actually, Rose the sending stuff.
I'll actually hit you with a message,
Okay.
and I will just say, "Henry said stop."
Nah.
Would you listen to Henry?
Nope.
I'm
Henry
gonna raise
says
by the
He's
church.
not stopping.
I'm gonna raise by the church. I gotta go do my thing.
He just replied, "Nah." So
Let's let him get in trouble then.
Henry starts walking.
Yeah, it's like we're still going, but we're not running. Yeah.
You get up to the tree. You don't
Uh-huh.
see anything on this side of the tree.
Okay.
You can hear the noises quite loudly on the other side of the tree.
Oh, it's like big.
Okay. I mean,
It's like one of those ginormous pine trees that's
Yeah.
falling across the
So he has to like
Okay,
climb over
I
it if
guess-
he wants to see.
I will try to take a look before I begin my climb over, or just like.
So you're gonna try to like move some branches and stuff
Yeah.
out of the way. Roll me. You don't need to roll. I think it's stupid.
yeah, roll, make it roll.
Yeah, you
Maybe
move
roll.
some stuff out of the way, and you can see that there's shorter sized humanoids running around on the other side. You can't really get a good look at them. You can also see a wagon of some sort on the other side of the tree.
Okay.
Running
You
around.
hear voices. They're not in a language you understand.
Okay. But only halfling voices.
You hear voices. They're not in a language you can understand.
Or halfling. I mean, I speak goblin, so.
It's not goblin.
All right. Cool. All right. I kind of, as I start climbing over, like, I yell out, "You guys okay? You need any help?"
There's quiet for a moment. Someone says,
It's not an ambush. Part of the church. I was on the road and we noticed you squirreling around over here.
you see like a head poke out around like some of the brush and stuff, and it's a halfling, and he sees you, and he's like, "You're with the church?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Okay, well, yeah, we're." You notice now that there's like a caravan of wagons, and they obviously can't get down the road because there's a tree in the way.
Okay.
And all these guys, all these halflings, there's like a dozen of them, are trying to figure out with meager tools how they're going to get this tree out of the way so they can keep on with their caravan.
Okay, so a tree fell in front of them, and they're just like, yeah, okay,
Oh, okay.
okay,
At this point, the rest of the party has walked up while you're talking to them.
not an ambush.
Everything
Nah.
good?
Yeah. Just some halflings stuck on the other side of this tree.
Everyone roll it now.
Hey, what's wrong with initiative?
Yeah. So what y'all want?
How big is the tree?
That's big.
It's a big pine tree, complete with branches and needles, and
Can they just go around?
the road on either side of this is like a wooded, scrubby copse of trees. So like not really.
Gotta be chopped.
Moved or pulled. Or
They might be able to do it if they like backtrack and then go around the trees, but that would take time. And then the road, that area is not a road, so it's rough, so they might break a wheel. One of the halflings is explaining this all to you.
Yeah.
And he's trying to figure out, like, are we going to would we,
You okay, buddy?
talking too much.
Need some water?
The halfling takes a sip of water.
It's holy.
Huzzah, it tastes delicious. He starts screaming. Turns out they're all vampire halflings.
out in the daylight.
He says they're trying to figure out whether like that would save more time to go around or whether that would save time by trying to move the tree or, you know,
You guys got any saws?
they pull out some like woodworking saws, but they're like saws.
They're not.
And they're like, we could like take turns and like,
Can I just I'm gonna look up to Henry?
It's the tree.
yeah, just good. Roll me. You're not gonna miss the tree. Roll
No,
me.
I was just saying I gotta miss the tree, roll the damage.
Yeah.
Cool. Could I crit the
Sure.
tree?
Roll. If you roll a 1, it'll be bad. If you roll a 20, it'll be good.
Okay, no. Didn't miss the tree.
Okay, you hit the tree.
Very nice. Don't worry, I've done this before. 11.
Yeah, you punch a branch right off that
And
tree.
if I could just woof.
Yeah, the branch about like that. You just punch it and it comes off the tree.
Henry, I know you want to get there. We've walked through rain. We've walked through everything. Does that special gift you have give you the ability to help go ahead and get this thing either cut in half, split, moved, so we can let them go on and we can continue on our way?
I mean, I'm willing to help, but I don't really know that I'm going to be more help than anyone else.
You got a sword.
I mean, swords aren't really meant for chopping down trees.
You won't be using it much longer. You got a chopping skill. And you got a little oomph in your gusto if you want
Like I
it.
said, what if
I
we
mean, I
just try
guess
to
that's
drag it
true.
out of the way by the tip, dude?
So he'll pull his sword out and he'll start just lopping limbs off to try to make it more cylindrical.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, maybe if we can like get some of the side limbs off, then when it's rounder, we can drag it easier.
All right.
I mean, they do have like horses to pull their wagons. So,
Yeah, let's do that.
all
That's a
right.
good idea.
The horses are good. Just wrap a couple of ropes around the tree and
Yeah.
move it out of the
Once we
way.
get it, once we get these limbs off.
I mean, do you want to try to move it without chopping limbs off?
Yeah, we can just try to do it with the horses. Horses should be strong enough, depending on how many horses they have. Don't have to waste energy.
Somebody roll me a survival check for tying the knot, and then somebody roll me an animal handling check for working with the horses. That's two different people.
The sword is rolling.
So who's you got animal handling or not?
Somebody can help with the animal handling, but only one person can tie knots.
Can I convince you to it could be a sleight of hand for the knot?
I'll take that.
And you got the animals since you talked to turtles already.
No bonuses before. Give me a.
You got a wisdom bonus there.
Yeah.
Well, you've also got inspiration, and you could get someone to help you.
I will just use my inspiration for this.
Okay,
That's
You roll
2d20s,
for the
right?
knots.
15 for the knots.
A 4.
Bro, that's so funny.
So
The
like,
horses are
you're
not.
trying to get the horses to go forwards, and they are not having any of it. Like, the knots are tied, the horses are unhitched from the wagons. They're not having any of it. Like, they don't want to get any closer to you.
Yeah, 4 or 5 is +2, so yeah. Just not.
They don't want to get any closer to you. Like, you're pulling them, and they're like, no.
Perfect use of an inspiration.
Ah, All right. All right. Let's just.
Anybody got any ideas?
Time up anyways and slap him on the butt.
I try to convince the halflings to just use the horses to move them and
Yeah, why are we moving the horses?
Y'all's idea.
Yeah, I asked one of the halflings, I'm like, well, it's obvious he's scared of the turtle. Do you mind if you just get on your horse and start moving it yourself?
So he goes over. One of them goes over there and like starts to try to get the horses to go, and they're not strong enough to move it.
I'll help push at the same time.
No, you said the horses aren't strong enough to move the tree.
They're rocking it, but they're not.
The
able
tree's not moving.
Yeah, I'll help push at the same time.
So you're gonna get on the rope and pull or push.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come
Me
on.
too.
Roll me a strength check.
Let's go.
Me too.
Roll me a strength check.
I'm gonna give you guidance.
Henry
since
will go
I'm
help
not
too.
doing anything else.
Oh, thanks,
We
buddy.
all help.
I'm not.
We can do
I'm
this.
watching.
We got this, guys. Oh yeah, we got this. Easy in the bank.
25.
24.
Henry rolled a 5.
Henry, my man. My man.
He's been walking all day. He's tired.
It's all right, Henry.
So like, it's hard, but that extra little bit is just enough what it takes to like overcome that initial barrier. And once it starts moving, it almost gets pulled out of your
Here we
hands.
go,
Well,
guys.
because it's like made of dead.
Sliding-
Once it's out of the
Sliding friction. We did it.
Good thing he chopped those limbs, otherwise y'all wouldn't move them.
That's true.
Yeah, and so y'all get the horses to drag it out of the way. This whole process, it took like 2 hours.
Yeah, it took time.
How'd you roll a 25?
I got +6.
For what?
Strength?
You don't have. You have a +4 to strength.
No. You
That's
do
saving throw.
athletics.
He didn't say athletics. He said strength.
Okay. I got a +6.
Athletics would have been fine.
Athletics is the,
I should
Extra.
it's
have said athletics.
it's literally athletics.
I got a 26. I beat you.
That's what this was really about.
It's like a 20 I rolled a 19 with a 6.
He gave me a +2.
Okay, yeah. It's fine. So it took an extra 2 hours. We got it out of the way.
While they were doing it, I was sitting down.
Yeah, he was
Watching.
doing things. And
Yeah.
halflings.
It's
No gravity
getting,
magic.
it's getting kind of dark
I didn't want to
at
make
this
too hard
point.
on y'all.
No,
The
you had something up your
halflings
sleeve. You always do.
Else?
Sorry.
say thank you, and in thanks they give you a skin of wine,
Yeah.
and they say, "Drink this around your campfire tonight. And think about us. We appreciate your help."
Safe travels.
They give us all that, or just
They give you one skin of
Sure,
wine. to
okay.
share.
As long as they don't give it to me.
It's a big skin of wine. It's the equivalent of like one of those big like Magnum bottles. And they get, it's not dark yet, but it's on the edge of starting to get dark.
So we traveling tonight?
Henry would say, "No, we don't have to travel. We can stop."
You sure, Henry?
He says, I would like to at least try to get to the turnoff.
That's fair.
It's another.
Push. You can push get exhaustion.
No.
Not exhaustion.
No.
Oh, so then you don't want to push.
Henry says he's okay with camp.
We just got to get to the.
What exhaustion level?
Huh?
What are you talking about exhaustion?
He was joking about not sleeping and taking an
Oh,
exhaustion.
it's not that much further.
So, no, he was saying don't sleep at all and go all the way to the sword tree.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it takes you another 2 hours to get to the turnoff.
How dark,
Proper dark.
How dark is it?
At this point, it's like 8 o'clock dark.
It's proper dark.
So what I'll do is I'll take one of the extra ropes, tie it to you. And just say, don't let it torch, just hang on to the rope.
I thought y'all were stopping for the night. I'm confused.
But it's still kind of dark. You might not can see.
I think everyone's at a different.
He's just assuming that you're like completely nightblind.
What?
I was like, it's not
There
not
is
pitch black.
there is a moon.
Yeah,
So
it's
how many hours have we traveled walking?
all day.
Today, you probably woke up at sunrise,
Yeah.
ate breakfast, left around 7. It's now like 8 o'clock. So
Okay.
13 hours.
Okay, so you don't follow the travel. Okay, you don't care about that stuff. Got it.
I'm not going to be picky about that.
All right. Cool.
And I assume that y'all ate rations for lunch at some point.
I had a hot dog.
I mean, that's one of your rations.
Oh.
Unless you had a hot dog separated out in your inventory.
It's just hot.
Okay.
I just I'm gonna have hot dogs whenever
Off
like
cam-
within reason.
off camera,
Hot dogs.
you traded all your rations in for hot dogs.
Just within reason. Like there's just gonna be a hot dog.
I'm
I'm sorry, I'm also.
a moss dog.
Dog.
Do y'all want to light a fire?
Yeah,
What's the temp like?
Yeah, I was
It's,
like,
it's,
oh, it's
it's
temperate.
excellent. The weather.
It's temperate, dude.
It's a little cold because like the storm just came through, so like the pressure's but it's not like okay. Let me put a temperature on it. It's like 59.
It's nice
I
out.
don't need no.
Yeah. It's nice out.
Alright,
Sleep under
fine.
the stars if you wanna.
All right, let's get that wineskin out. Let's have a good
I
night.
knew that was gonna come.
I mean,
it'll be empty by morning.
The white moon and the red moon both reflect light, so
We're good. We're good to
Like-
see.
I have a question about how they reflect light if the sun's dim.
We've talked about this already.
they reflect light unless they are between you and the sun. The sun doesn't ever 100% go out except for the end of the year. It's just like really dim right now. So between the sun and the two moons that reflect light,
Uh-huh.
you have some
It's
light.
like that's what I was like. I'm not like blind.
Yeah.
This is the-
There are no stars.
You
But
were
as
wondering.
y'all lay there, you can see distant lights off to your
The
left and
cities
right.
or the other
And
stars.
you can infer that those are other cities. And if you kind of work it out in your mind, you're like, okay, that really bright one, that's got to be Hearst because it's not that far away. And then like that one over there that's really dim, I bet that's Leor. And then there's like a scattering of lights, and like that might be some of the cities that are in the small kingdoms. And you're kind of like trying to picture it. None of these lights are directly above you. They're more like off to the side.
Horizon, so to speak.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So any of them flickering, like really, like in and out.
From this distance, they look like it's like you're viewing a city from outer space.
I just wanted to tell him that one of them was under attack.
Don't watch it run off.
On the other side of the world.
After he's tried a few sips of that wine, you know.
The wine's not very good, but it's serviceable. It's not. It's like it's Olive Garden wine.
What's Olive Garden?
We're family.
It'll do the job.
On the back. We're family. It's
There we go.
Hot dogs and Olive Garden.
hot dogs in the
And a snow globe.
and a snow globe.
Who's keeping first watch?
Sounds like he just
The
volunteered.
drunk.
Me?
What order are we going in for watches?
Let's go clockwise from him.
Fine. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So everyone's gonna take a 2-hour shift, right?
Yep.
All right. Roll me a perception check. Oh, you're gonna sleep during yours? Okay. No, I mean if that's what you're doing, that's what you're
Yeah,
doing.
once I get them all to sleep, this is time.
Everyone goes to sleep. Do y'all finish the bag of wine?
I'm not drinking
I
any
didn't
wine.
know.
I'm just taking a nap.
I don't drink.
It's just you. Do you drink the whole? You and Henry. Do you and Henry drink the whole bag of wine? All right, let's roll some
Bro,
constitution.
we got places to be. We ain't drinking all the wine.
Henry
It's just
passes
one
his.
bag. Guys, between the five of us,
Says
that's nothing.
says Mr. One Mug. What'd you roll?
2 for 4.
You were like Henry was joining you, but you were really kind of hogging. At one point, like you hand the bag back to Henry, and Henry's just like, "It's empty."
It's
Drink it all.
Roll me 2d4.
7.
You will still be drunk during your watch.
as it goes.
You're gonna have that beautiful moment when you go from being drunk to being hungover happen in the middle of your watch at like 2 a.m.
Sounds good. Sounds like Fred has a drinking problem.
It does, doesn't it?
Doesn't know when to stop.
So do you actually go to sleep?
I mean, I'm gonna not be. I'll be enough to kind
You're not actually watching. You're just kind of sitting there.
of sitting there, just kind of.
First,
For me, it's the same thing. So, like what I said in the morning, it's the kind of concept of the character. It's all about time. So I'm there, but
Your brain is elsewhere.
yes, because I'm just thinking about everything. else.
and it's only the first 2 hours. It's not like we all immediately crash either. I wouldn't think.
All right.
But
Everyone's asleep. It is your watch. Roll a perception check.
11.
11. Could everyone do me a favor and go outside for a moment? Except for you.
give me a second. I'm stuck in here.
One at a time.
Goodbye, cameras.
All right. So, your watch is, it's going. Right, you're sitting there, you're looking around. At one point, you kind of blink, and then you open your eyes, and there's a pair of eyes looking back at you from the shadows. A form kind of like shambles forward, and it's maybe 3 feet high, and you recognize it as one of your master's Shadow Fae. And he speaks in this like really low, kind of like rough voice. And he says, I have word from the master.
News.
Yes, he had a visitor. It went very poorly.
Visitor from who?
It was, well, it doesn't matter. The visitor said, well, accused, really, the master of having poor taste in wine. He was very upset. So, he wants you to procure him some new vintages. Also, through the last bottle of his previous vintage, through the painting that you brought him last time. You need to procure, quotation marks, procure a new painting for him. Something unique. It says, let me know whenever you have these things.
I give him that fancy drink that he gave me. I don't know.
Oh, she just gave you a glass. She didn't like give you a bottle.
Oh,
Yeah, she just gave you like a glass of it.
thought you meant she gave me.
Yeah, no.
Find some drink?
Yeah, he says that he needs at least a case.
Okay.
Well, you know the master. He likes to drink. And he gives you a really big toothy grin, and it's like a Cheshire cat kind of grin from Alice in Wonderland. There's just way too many teeth in this face. And never once in your conversation with this creature do you see anything other than like the glint off of its teeth, its eyes, and like a vague outline of a shadow. It never moves into the light at all. And somehow, like wherever it stands is seemingly darker than everything around it.
He needs a new thing of wine. You can try to procure these things once we reach the capital.
He gives you a nod and says, don't wait too long, especially with the wine. The master has thrown all of his old wine out.
Do my best. As I look over at drunk Flicks over there, like,
As you look over at Flix and you look back, the shadow makes come.
constantly drink everything.
The rest of your watch passes without.
Bitch.
All right, guys.
It's for everybody.
Nope.
Yeah.
This is something that will happen rarely.
Well, I had to sleep during the first session.
I wake up Flicks. Your turn.
Anything happen?
Flix is.
Alright,
Well, we still got
is everything good?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
Alright, sounds good.
Did you literally wake up? Oh, it was your turn.
It's his turn.
Alright,
You're still
stand
drunk.
up,
Roll a
Find a
perception check
tree.
with disadvantage.
to lean on. Daddy one.
You stare for a really, really long time at what you think are eyes that are watching you. Really, really long time.
You think about fucking moving. Dead.
Those eyes slowly start drifting further and further apart, and further apart. And then one of them blinks on and off. The other one blinks on and off. And you realize after about 15 minutes that you're seeing two different fireflies. And they're like slowly flying away from each other. And it's taking your brain a really long amount of time to realize that they're not eyes. They're two different fireflies that are just slowly moving away from each other. About that time you throw up and you start feeling hungover. And you've got the remainder of your watch where you feel just absolutely miserable.
I'm gonna find a seat.
And that's the end of your watch.
Alright.
Do you remember to wake up the next person?
Odd or even.
You're no longer drunk, but you are sick.
Alright. I'll wake him up. It was over 15.
You wake up. Someone has vomited recently.
Like on me.
No, it's like slightly off to the side of where everyone else is, next to a tree.
You okay?
Eat chicken.
Couldn't you have done your make yourself feel better? Your priesty stuff.
You know, sometimes you gotta live with your decisions. Sometimes you can use the one to cure them.
So he
Not
just
all the time.
So he just likes to make you suffer.
Well, it's more of a personal choice.
That's
I'm like at this point, lay on hands to cure drunkenness is not something Flix is going to do. It's his own form of punishment, I guess.
already.
Secretly, he knows he has a drinking problem. And he feels like he deserves it.
Like, and he's like, it wouldn't be. He's like, and if I kept curing myself, it wouldn't be a problem. What kind of ghost in your past are you running from, Flix?
Maybe we'll talk in the morning.
He's really just a frat boy at heart.
Right. So I've got last words.
Yes. Roll me a perception check. At some point, I would like you to send me a Discord or something about what the old painting looked like.
14.
14?
Mm.
There are a lot of fireflies kind of going around. By a lot, I mean like 3 or 4. Not really a lot. It's a bad description.
That was a lot of fireflies by 3. Oh, okay.
There are a few fireflies, is what I should say. But they stick around. They don't leave. And they just kind of fly around, lighting up and then going dark and then lighting up and going dark.
That's all I see on launch.
It's kind of amusing. It's at least something to look at.
It's supposed to be security.
Yeah. I mean, I know you were in the army and you probably had to sit post or something in the middle of the night before. It's pretty boring.
It's called fire.
Yeah, I've had to do that on Boy Scout stuff, and when I was at A&M, it's pretty boring.
Oh, it's bad.
So at least you had fireflies to keep your attention at least somewhat.
Yep.
And the sun starts coming. Well, the sun doesn't come up. The sun just starts getting brighter, and the fireflies go away. And yeah,
I don't have a pot and pan. I was gonna say I'm cooking some breakfast, but we're having it cold.
Yeah.
And I throw some water on him.
You wake up to like a splash of water in your face.
Some of that holy water.
Ah,
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
why am I wet?
Oh, you must have been drooling.
Henry says, "Did someone throw up over there?" Thanks for letting me sleep, by the way.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
You hear another voice go, "Good morning." Y'all look at each other.
I just turn around to whoever said
Hi.
good morning.
About 50 yards down the road, the way y'all just came from, there's a figure standing there wearing a mask. And he's got like a hat on as well as the mask, which doesn't quite work because he's got to tilt the hat back a little bit. But it's this big, like, poofy brimmed hat with a big feather out the top of it. And he's wearing
Like a pimp hat?
Huh?
Like a pimp hat.
Like a pimp hat.
Okay.
And he's wearing like a doublet with big fluffy sleeves and tight leather pants and like really nice looking silver worked boots. And he's got a rapier on one hip.
Send him a message. This isn't a fair fight.
He says, "I'm just here to see what's going on," as he starts strolling towards the camp. Henry, of course.
Henry, what do you think?
Henry stands up. The mask appears.
Is this This is weird. That guy's weird.
Not a good.
That's not a normal guy. So either
You notice as the guy gets closer that his mask has a lot more scratches on it than Henry's does.
seems like
Sorry,
this guy bought his
sorry.
mask.
You say that out loud.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm gonna start kind of like backing up Henry like a step behind him, right? But like what he said too.
He draws his sword, but it's a rapier, and he just kind of leans on it, and you see the rapier flex. This guy is really skinny. Like, super skinny. Like whipcord skinny. Henry says, "What do you want? What are you doing here?" The guy says, "Well, I was just looking to see if you were interested in a friendly bout. You know, a little one-on-one fight." And Henry goes, "No, I don't think I would want that. I don't think my friends would want that either." And he kind of gestures to y'all.
Always care.
As a player, I'm so tempted to kill this guy just to get his mask, to see what it's like, and go down that trail. That'd be really fun.
Oh no, as a player, I want Henry to kill him so I can just go pick it up. I'm to think about picking it up. Like, I know better to engage.
No. You gotta engage the things you want.
I mean,
'Cause he-
okay,
he
we're
killed
talking out of character. I was like, I totally want to see what this is all about. But we are absolutely not ready for it if I'm guessing out of character.
There's nothing that you're ready or not ready for. That's not how.
I mean, I can create a new character.
So this character, he makes an elaborate gesture, and as he takes his hand over his face, his mask disappears. And he says,
Introduction.
"Where are my manners? I am Jose Castillo Geraldo Martin Villalobos."
Can that be shorter?
My friends call me Jose.
Resident Jose.
And
And
this doesn't need to be to the death or anything.
Henry, do you know Jose?
Henry just looks at you and like shakes his head no. And Jose's young. He's human. He's really young, tan skin. Not because the army of humans that originally colonized this world was multicultural. You can be there. There is no like this race lives in this. You know.
It's just mixed pot everywhere.
Yeah, but his accent is not the accent of Albion. He's from somewhere else. He says, "This is not doesn't have to be to the death. Could just be a friendly bout.
I would like to. I don't want to do it out loud. I just want to ask him how he come across his mask.
You just ask him.
Not out loud. Literally just gonna in his brain. How did you get your mask being so?
How are you in his brain doing this?
I'm sending him a message.
You realize you have to speak message out loud.
Oh,
You have the talk message.
I was like, well, I'll talk.
He
He, he just hears.
You like whisper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Granted, it is a whisper. Yeah.
I just whispered. How have you come upon your mask being so young?
I found it. He doesn't say anything else. He whispered back to you, I found it. Henry goes, not to the death, and you leave one way or another at the end. Jose goes, gestures, bows a little bit.
That was not an answer.
To the death, Henry. To the death.
Whispering this to Henry.
I think we should just take our own.
I mean, you have
They
have
have
nothing
somewhere
to
to
gain as the higher ranking person fighting someone of a lower rank. You have nothing to gain.
He
got it back.
he yells back to the guy. The guy's still like 50 yards away. He yells back to the guy and says,
It's hundreds were better or one's better.
one's the best.
Yeah, so you got it back.
No,
Well, you still-
Henry has less marks than this dude.
Okay.
Which means he's a higher
He's
rank,
a lower
but he does
rank.
have a lower number.
Yeah. Okay. I got it.
Yeah,
You
Okay.
want to be first.
You want to be first? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, you could just wait. Henry's gonna go put his down.
Henry says, Henry tells him to wait, and he like gestures for y'all to like group up and like huddle. And he says, like, one of you keep an eye on him just in case. But it seems like Jose is willing to just stand there and let y'all talk. He says, I could just fight this guy. He's only ranked 85. We're not that far from the sword tree. But if we just walk away from him, he could ambush us later.
I don't know. I mean, Henry, you're making this journey to put down the mask. If you turn around and walk back to him, you're walking backwards.
I mean, I just don't want to get killed in the next 3 hours from ambush.
Before we get back.
Because even if he doesn't fight me in a fair fight, if I'm dead, he still moves up at least one place.
All right. I mean,
I'm looking for input, guys.
I
Is it worth
I
it?
mean, just
It's more just so
What
he
does it
doesn't
give
die.
you?
why don't you just tell him that you're looking to retire and you're already done? Maybe he'll honor that.
He turns around to Jose and goes, just so you know, I was on my way to the sword tree to break the bond between me and the mask. Once I do that, you'll move up a place regardless. As a new place, everyone above me will shift down.
Yeah.
Would you let me just walk away? And Jose says, but there's the chance that I could be,
He could just hop up 40 something points or whatever.
there's the chance that I could be number 54 if I win this bout.
What if you just let him win the bout?
No.
It's not that.
No.
It's not fair that way, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Henry says the mask would know.
A mask wouldn't know. Can't trick that guy.
Henry, we're on a schedule.
Okay.
You got two options.
Henry yells back and says, is there an oath that you could give me that this won't be to the death? And Jose stands there and thinks for a little bit. And he's like, I swear on my mother? It's like a question mark.
It's like not even good enough.
That's okay. I mean, we can always step in.
You could always just step in.
So yeah.
Henry yells back and he says, my friends are going to step in if it looks like this is going to the death, just so you know. And Jose says, they wouldn't be much friends if they didn't.
Okay. If y'all are really
We're
gonna do
Henry's
it,
friend.
we're gonna do it.
All right.
So that'd
I
be
will,
good.
I will be ready to dump in as soon as possible.
So the two start walking towards each other. The masks come back up.
Weapons up.
Jose
Dirty.
takes his hat and jauntily tosses it to the side. It lands in a puddle, and you hear him go, shit.
I can't.
If I had
Please let this be a reoccurring
It's funny.
character.
When his hat lands in the puddle, and he says shit, his accent goes away.
I want this guy dead.
I can't. All right.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna be like, what's a respectable distance away?
Let's say
As,
30
but as
feet.
close as we need to be.
I mean, you
30 feet.
could probably be within like 15 feet.
Yeah,
honestly.
like I'll be
it's,
like right there.
it's about between two swordsmen.
Yeah.
We don't need to put any minis out or anything like that.
Okay.
So they both have their weapons drawn. Jose's got his rapier out, and Henry has his
Big ol'
two-handed greatsword out. And Jose's the first one to move. He's very, very fast. Like, you realize watching him that he's easily faster than Henry. But he's not wearing any armor at all. And his sword snakes through and pings off of Henry's shoulder pauldron and doesn't manage to get into a weak point. And Henry takes a big two-handed swing, but it's so slow in compared to how fast this guy is moving. And it just cuts over his head. And you see the next thing he does is he slides under Henry's leg and takes like a slash at the back of Henry's ankles. But I mean, Henry's wearing plate armor, and it just like skids off the plate armor. And before Henry can even react, he's drawn a pistol crossbow with his offhand, and he shot it at the back of Henry's backplate. And you see it hit the backplate, and it sticks, but it doesn't seem to like penetrate very far. So I mean, Henry goes like, ah! But there's still like that much of the bolt sticking out, so you know it didn't go in very deep. And Henry turns and like golf club swings because Jose is
Dude's
still
on the
like
ground.
he's still
Yeah.
like crouched, and Jose manages to like take that momentum, and he keeps sliding, and the sword goes just past where he was, and he slides and somehow manages to turn his slide into like a stand-up motion, and he's running away from Henry, and then he turns and is facing Henry again, and so they're now face to face, like 10 feet apart. And they start like slowly kind of pacing each other a little bit. And Jose once again makes the first move. This time, he throws the pistol crossbow at Henry
Just throws it.
and then lunges at the same point with the rapier. Henry baseball bats the pistol crossbow and manages to hit it, and it bounces back and it hits Jose in the face. Jose's lunge completely misses the mark as Henry sidesteps. And the two of them kind of have this awkward moment where, like, Henry's sword is way out of the way, and Jose's got, like, a bloody nose, and they kind of step back a little bit. And Jose shakes his head and, like, hawks a snot loogie that's mostly blood, and gives a bow to Henry. And Henry does like a slight twitch with this sword that might be like a formal salute, but he barely moves his sword like out of the guard position. And Henry takes a couple of steps further away from Jose, and Jose takes a quick look around and can't seem to figure out where his crossbow went. And the two of them just kind of stare at each other for a moment.
Is that it?
Jose says, you're faster than I thought you'd be for an old man. And Jose says, you're faster than I thought you would be for a dandy not wearing any armor.
No, Henry said
Henry
that.
said
Okay,
that.
yeah.
My bad.
Okay.
Yeah. And Jose's like, why wouldn't I be fast? I'm not wearing armor. And Henry looks puzzled for a moment, like, and Henry says, I've never been very good at smack talk. And then he just charges at Jose.
He just runs at him.
He just runs out. Jose
Like, slow.
actually doesn't move out of the way and just stands there, and you see him lunge like at the last moment as if he's gonna like impale Henry on his sword. But Henry manages to move slightly to the side and traps the rapier under Henry's arm.
Okay.
And Henry crashes into him at full speed, not even swinging the sword. Just like football tackles him into the ground. And the two of them are laying there, and Henry's on top of him in the armor. Jose's sword is trapped under Henry's arm, more or less useless and out of the way. And Henry just smacks him in the face with the pommel of his greatsword.
Breaking bones and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this dude snapped.
There's like a spray of blood.
Yeah.
And Henry stands up, and Jose's not moving.
I'll walk over and
Jose's breathing.
Okay, I was gonna say, is he breathing? Kind of push at it with my foot. Does he?
I just asked Henry, does that mean it's over now?
He said, not to the death. As far as I'm aware, it's over.
Jose, you good?
Jose's unconscious.
Does that mean
He doesn't respond.
Does that mean he lost?
All right. Henry, turn around.
Now that he's unconscious, Jose's mask disappears.
Turn around. I'm going to get this arrow at your back.
Oh, he turns around.
Right.
Yeah, roll me strength or athletics check.
Hey.
Oh, I'm -2, but that's a 14.
You pop it out. It only went in about like that far, and there's a little bit of blood back there, but it's basically like just the point of the crossbow bolt was like into his back, like just the very point of it.
I check it for a poison.
Yeah, there's no poison on it. Or you can roll a medicine check. Yeah, there's nothing smeared on it.
Oh, see, I get a +4, so 16.
As far as you can tell, there's no.
Just double
Show me
checking.
blood on it,
Not a lot, but just a little bit.
I'll wrap it in a cloth and just kind of put it in my back.
Wait, you're keeping the blood?
No, I'm keeping the arrow.
Oh,
Crossbow bolt.
Crossbow bolt.
Pistol crossbow bolt.
All right,
His
So
blood.
Jose's laying there.
I'm gonna go check on Jose.
He's alive. He's unconscious.
So wait, what happens that he lost? Like was
Stable.
With his?
That's where I was.
It just
He
stays
is stable.
Yeah,
He just stays.
It's disappeared. It's not on him anymore.
That's weird. I was like, does he lose it, or is it just he didn't go up a rank?
He didn't go up a rank, and he's not dead, so he still has it.
All right.
Interesting.
Well, can't leave him here passed out, even though he deserves it.
What do you think, Henry?
Lay on hands.
Hold on. Before you do that,
Ah,
want to go pick his hat up?
Yeah, it's a little damp.
And I'm
It's
going to slap it on his face, on his head, and then get that put on him nice and tight.
okay. You're like covering his eyes and everything.
Now you can wait.
all right.
Oh, it's dark.
He wakes up and goes, "Ow!
Huh?
Where am I? It's dark. This is
You're-
my hat, isn't it? It's wet."
No, you're in the afterlife.
Let me persuasion check.
13.
Quieter than I thought it would be.
Well-
Your head's pretty empty.
He
So.
moves the- He says, well, it was a good fight. I thought you'd be slower as you were old. Oh, well.
Can I help him out?
Yeah, you can help him up, please. He goes and he picks up his pistol crossbow and he puts it away and he sheaths his sword. And he takes his hat and he slings the water off of it, puts it on his head, and he says, well, good day to you. And he just turns around and walks down the road. And he gets about 100 yards down the road, and he turns around and he says, Jose Castillo, Geraldo, Martin, Villalobos will fight again. And he does like the gesture like that. And he just walks off into the distance towards the direction of the capital.
Interesting.
Hey, the tournament. Hey.
So as he does it, I'm going to look at Henry and be like, at first I thought these masks actually had some ruthless meaning. With Flamboyant Boy over there walking around with one, I don't know. You probably should have just killed him because he's bringing down the status of it.
He says, I gotta say, it's been one of the more awkward interactions I've had. That's for sure. Normally, the people who have them are tougher. Although the whole thing with the pistol crossbow was kind of,
That was neat.
it got me for a moment.
Wasn't a bad move.
He struts and he's like, well,
Wiry for
Off
sure.
we go.
that was that.
Let's go that way. We need to get you to the truth.
went better than I thought it would. And he turns around and starts walking towards the tree.
So that's what we were scared of?
I mean,
He was number 85.
I don't really get it.
And according to him, he found the maps.
I like it. It's a fun character.
Y'all walk for 4 hours. And it doesn't take more than 2 before you can start seeing the sword tree. Its leaves are a distinct reddish orangish color, which very much stands out from the green around you. As you travel that direction, there are less farms, there are less people, it's more woodland. It still does not feel like wilderness. It just feels like less people live here. This is a very familiar road. Even before you ran away, you were probably sent on errands.
Yeah, like Moss is actually getting kind of like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like we're just like not normal mossiness, even though y'all only known me for a couple days.
Henry gets real quiet. He didn't talk anymore.
No more mossiness.
The first thing you see when you get up close is you see the beautiful blood red to rust orange leaves of the sword tree. They stick out really far. Kind of imagine if you've ever seen a Japanese maple, kind of that color, but more blood red. The trunk and the limbs of the tree are white with black scars all over them, almost like an aspen or a birch, but not quite the same.
But it
It's
looks,
much thicker.
it looks like some big sword cuts.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like sword cuts and things all over it. But long heel. And the tree it's dominating. As soon as you get close, like it's huge. You can tell that the canopy from one end to the other end of the sword tree is easily 100 yards in diameter for one tree. The trunk, you could estimate, is probably 20 feet
Like round.
wide at the ground. And as you get closer, you realize that there's actually about a 2-story building that is built completely encircling the tree. And it looks just like a wall. It's got ramparts up at the top. There's arrow slits on the second floor. And you can tell that it's a circle. It goes in a circle all the way around the sword tree.
Huge defense.
And it's like I said, it's about 2 stories tall, and it's white. And the road goes straight up to it, and there's a gate. The gate is open. And Henry just starts going that direction.
Yeah.
And you would know, as we talked earlier, that like the Brotherhood has surely seen y'all at this point, but no one is going to approach you until after he is done whatever he's planning on doing.
So everybody be quiet.
And as Henry is getting going that direction, he seems to completely tune y'all out. Does anyone want to do anything before you enter the ring wall? All right.
I want to take in. I do want to look like as we're walking the poles. I want to do a very thorough just moment of taking in what we're about to walk into.
Are you looking at the fortress part of it, or are you looking at the tree part of it? Or?
No, the fortress. So I know the tree is very majestic and all those things, but almost like candy. I'm wanting to see what am I walking into.
Okay, so you're like assessing the threat.
Yes.
Roll me a perception check.
Plus a nat 20.
There are people all over the place. You can see them. Most of them are wearing simple robes. There's no like uniform. There are people of all different robes. You do see some people with weapons. But as you get a closer look at them, you realize they're like practice weapons made out of wood. Right? And there are people looking at you, but no one is approaching you. No one is like coming your direction. Doesn't seem to be anyone who's going to the gate to stop you from going to the gate. In fact, there doesn't really seem to be any guards on the gate, although you see some people on the wall that are like looking at your direction. You don't get any hostile vibes. You also notice that some of them are dwarves.
As we get close, I'm gonna cast Bless on Henry, me, and Autumn.
Okay.
I feel like getting rid of this mask will be more of a challenge than simply what the tree will do itself, and he may need to.
Good idea.
Only lasts a minute, so I'm gonna try to time that.
Let's see who your favorites are.
Oh, Henry does not even seem to notice.
See
when
the
you
way he
raise.
rolls.
Like, yeah, he's focused. Yeah.
It's more than just focus. and you've seen this before, that like people coming to the tree get almost like a zombie like. Y'all don't feel this way, but it's clear like you've seen it. People, when they come to this tree for this purpose, they have like an almost zombie like attention to the task at hand. And Henry is like full in the grip of it.
Also, just as we're going in, make sure and kind of keeping a check on our backside. Make sure no pansies.
Yeah.
Cut back behind
There's
us.
no one behind you.
Okay. You know, he was very.
Seemed like an honorable man.
Here it is.
Very true to his word.
You can't trust the pimp. Who can you trust?
I have a feeling that we're gonna see Jose a lot more.
Can't wait.
We're gonna have to memorize that whole name.
Now that I know he's one of y'all's least favorite characters, one of y'all's most favorite characters, he's definitely going to show up again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you go through the narrow entrance, and you would know this is the only entrance to and from the ring. It's about 15 feet wide, and there are heavy, heavy, solid iron doors, but they're completely open. You, with your perception check, would get the sense that like this place could hold off a siege for a really long time if the people inside it felt like fighting. Inside, you realize that the circumference of this ring fort is almost the entire circumference of the span of the tree. So almost the entire inside is covered by the canopy of the tree. So Henry starts walking faster, and now he's like 15 feet ahead of y'all. And he gets right up to the base of the tree, draws his sword, and stabs it into the ground. Do y'all do anything? You get closer to him, you stay.
Would keep everybody.
You keep
well,
everyone.
I would be like, no.
Yeah.
15 feet sounds good.
Yeah, so you can't really hear if he says anything. You can't really see what he does. He stays in that pose for quite some time, and which is not unusual. People stay like that for a while. And you can kind of see that there's like the earth underneath where he's standing is kind of moving a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a weird popping noise, and the mask just falls off his face and just lays on the ground. It's the first time you've seen the mask not touching him. And there's a weird, like, deep breath, and he leaves his sword there, and you can see that one of the roots of the tree has come up and grabbed the sword and is like tight around the sword, which is usual. It has not touched the mask. And Henry gets up and he walks away, and he starts walking away.
Mage hand.
Yeah, if you pick up the mask with Mage Hand and bring it to you, it does.
Just want to inspect it.
Holding it with Mage Hand, not touching it, it is completely blank. Has no scratches on it at all. You're going to touch it and stick it in the pouch, or you're going to Mage Hand it into the
Mage
pouch?
handed it.
Okay, yeah, you Mage Hand it into the pouch.
You're a target now. People want that mask.
I don't know. I've got it.
You told Jose. Jose knows.
He knew it hit the ground.
Yeah, Jose knows who had the mask last. Was Henry and his friends. And so whenever someone says they went to the sun tree, they're gonna know.
Talk to him.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm just saying, people are gonna come for you that want that mask.
Here's my thing.
Or us.
Here's my thing. That may be the case, but right now, the way Henry explained it is you know where the masks are based on when you have it on you and it's part of you. I have not physically touched the mask, so therefore it is not bound to us. They were going to come for us anyway.
Not
That's
if they found the mask at the sword tree. But regardless,
Ah,
you just gotta keep
yeah.
it in mind.
It
I'm
ain't
not
gonna
trying to
stay
tell you
in
what
here.
to do with it.
I'm just going to keep it.
Oh yeah, no. It's just like information travels well. Jose had a loud mouth.
We were gonna keep the mask open.
I mean, no one's bound to it yet.
No, but anyway. Well,
Yeah.
So,
Henry has this like dazed look on his face, which is not like uncommon. It normally takes like a while for people to like calm
I'll
down.
just like motion him towards like, 'cause I know often.
Yeah, some of the other Brotherhood members come up to him and they don't say anything to you, although you get a few looks that like they know who you are.
Hi, Steve.
Yeah. Steve kind of gives you like
I didn't.
he gives you the side eye.
You know.
No, it's Steve. Steve gives you the side eye. And they like whisper to Henry, like, hey, it's okay. You can come with us. It's all right. And you go with him. They take him to like a side room. All of the rooms are built into the wall. There are no buildings in here. It's just the wall.
Like cookies and wall.
You realize that the wall is thick enough that like it can house not big rooms, but rooms. And they take him into like a little side empty room, and someone brings him a glass of water, and he just kind of like woodenly drinks the water. And after a while, an older brother comes and doesn't talk to you, gives you the look, and you're like, yeah, I recognize this guy too. And yeah, sure, Bert. He starts explaining to Henry what's going to happen. And Henry's just kind of woodenly sitting there. And he tells Henry that, there's going to be some changes to your personality. You're going to find that you really don't have a desire to do violence to people anymore. And you're going to find that any ambitions that you really held no longer really trouble you. And you're also going to find it really hard to leave the surgery. But that's okay. We have a community here of people that have been through similar things. We all support each other. It'll be good. If you have any family, you can send for them. They're welcome to stay here also. Henry kind of starts woodenly asking some questions. And like this is all part of the process. Like it like takes a while before Henry's gonna be back to normal. Yeah. I mean, it's not normal, right? Because he's gonna be a little different now.
Yeah.
It's almost like enforced Buddhism. So, what's everyone else doing? What are you doing? Just along for the
I'm
ride?
just chilling, waiting for something to happen.
Waiting for something to happen?
I want to go up to the sword tree.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to touch it? To look around.
They would let you touch the tree.
Okay.
They would not let you take a sword.
Okay.
Yeah, do not touch this.
Yeah. Okay.
While y'all are there, there's a constant slow rain of leaves. Just very slowly. Just like every now and then one just kind of drifts down. There's another one drifting down. And they're all this various shades of like blood red to rust orange.
Did he move that?
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a single like empty spot in the canopy.
So wherever it's fallen, there's one still there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to go up to the tree. I want to touch it. Blix is just, and Mason, we're just generally curious about what's going on here. How's this work?
You touch the
There's
tree.
some sort of spiritual thing. So I want to touch the tree, and I'm going to cast detect evil and good.
Okay. That does not actually tell you if it's good or evil, right?
I know. It
It
doesn't.
tells you if it's like
You get a vibe.
Yeah, it's a vibe check.
You get a vibe.
I get a vibe check.
Sword in the ground. Oh,
aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or
Character
undead.
gives up. He just retires right here.
It's just a way to spend a resource to try to figure something.
It's a little bit outside of a normal definition. It's somewhere between elemental and celestial.
Okay. Interesting.
You do not get the sense that it is. I'm going to use the word. You don't get the sense that it's evil.
Yeah. I didn't think it
You
was.
do get the sense that it's otherworldly, and it perhaps might have its own reasons for existing beyond what people are using it for.
This is like essentially like a, almost like a creature.
I mean, it
Its
is. A
own thing.
It is a creature. It's a tree.
Creature, yeah, I guess, yeah. It's weird.
As you're sitting there touching it, a leaf drifts down and it lands on your head, and it just like weirdly like sticks to your forehead.
Sign.
Yeah, you're.
It's happened to me before too.
You look around the corner and Moss has got him like stuck all over. No. Yeah, and so you do have a leaf from the sword tree if you want it.
Oh, cool.
It's about the size of your hand,
Mm-hmm.
and
Tree star.
Here go save my grandpa.
I was actually gonna say. I was actually gonna say that. Yes.
Didn't want to kill the cool moment there.
I was actually gonna say that.
That's a tree star.
I was gonna say it was a tree star.
Gotta go find a place to sit and just watch everything going on.
There's some interesting stuff going on in here from your perspective. It's almost, you get a sense that only you could have that time is slower here. You're not sure how that's possible, but it's a palpable feel that only someone who is trained as you have trained would recognize. You can even see it in the way that the leaves are falling. They seem to be falling slower than gravity would account for. Just slightly. Yeah, just slightly. It's interesting. Do you want to look for anything else?
While we're sitting there, I'll just take the time, spend the time, and do detect magic. This one sitting there.
The tree is 100% magical. A good number of the swords are magical.
Okay.
And it's not just swords, it's called the sword tree, but there are also maces and lances.
Any kind of weapons.
Yeah.
It's a weapon.
There's also some things that are 100% not describable as what you would consider to be weapons.
Okay. And as I look at them, how deep are they in the ground? Like, are they different levels of deep? Are they all the same level of deep?
Interesting question. There are some that are deeper than others. Some have visible roots grasping them and holding on to them, and some don't.
And the one that he put in the ground?
It's got a visible root holding it.
So it's not over time that it grows. It is once it's plunged, the tree does it. The root kind of, I guess I'm trying to decipher. Is either the tree root will grow up and grasp it where it won't based on what I've seen, since his was grasped.
Roll me a
by
nature
it.
check.
It's definitely something.
Oh, it was a 13, but it went to a 1. And that's a, but I do have plus nature. Yeah, it's plus 3.
You gotta do.
4.
Doing all this work for a 4.
I know you expected me to roll higher.
I was.
Like, you could just be like, oh, this is a great
a
one.
bunch of-
Now I have to give him a bunch of fluff
Yeah.
because you rolled so crappy.
Yeah, it's hard to know. Like
Yeah.
some of them, the roots are visible. Some of them they aren't. But something is holding everything in place.
Okay.
Nothing is fallen over.
And that's the only piece I really feel magic coming from is the swords and that.
Some of the weapons are magical. The tree is magical. There are some things that look like they're magical that are not magical.
That are not more of those not magic things.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Is there an elf around?
There's all races are here. There's probably like 200-300 people here.
What's the oldest elf?
Um,
Who can I see them?
that's a good question. Oldest elf.
And is it and is it Greta?
The oldest elf is 703. Not that you would know that.
Yeah.
There's a very, very old elf here.
Would like to go talk to them.
Yeah.
You do the book stuff.
Maybe. Think about it.
Give me a moment to catch up on my notes. Yeah, as soon as you start looking around, wondering where Greta is, you see her marching across
I'm just like, I wonder where Greta is.
and you see her coming. But we're going to get back to that, so you have a moment to think about what you're going to do. All right, so you go to talk to the. There is an old elf. He's actually like raking the leaves.
Hey. Conflicts.
He looks at you and it says his name is Daxio. Hello, my name is Daxio.
First time. Yeah, it's just my first time here, and I just really curious about the sword tree and like, like what its purpose is. What's the tree want? And you've been here a while, and being of your lineage, of many old. I was just curious. Tell me the history of this tree beyond my own years.
He he says that as long as his people have been here, and he says his people in such a way that like you understand.
Mm-hmm.
As long as his people have been here, the sword tree has always been here. It's always been a place where warriors can come to rest. And thankfully, when the humans came, they upheld that tradition and did not trouble the warriors that were here. And those that were here stayed away from the war. As for the tree itself, he knows that elves built the ring fort, but the ring fort, like the tree was here before the ring fort, and the tree itself it's a living, sentient tree.
Yeah.
It's not like normal trees. It's got an intelligence to it.
Yeah.
He starts lecturing you kind of in a way like he's talking down to you as he's explaining it, but he is explaining. He says that there's been some theories that perhaps the tree sustains itself off of the violence and ambition of others. But that doesn't really explain why people aren't allowed to leave afterwards. And when he says allowed, he kind of like there are air quotes that he doesn't actually physically do.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he's really going to give you.
I really appreciate you talking to me. I know with how things are with you, my dad's side of things, but I really don't know much about where I come from. Half of me, I'm trying to learn.
He gives you a pretty stoic look, but it's better than some of the looks you've gotten from elves before. It's not hostile.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like he doesn't like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he finds you mildly distasteful, but he doesn't hate you. He doesn't like. Yeah. It's probably one of the more passive looks you've gotten from a full-blooded elf before. But he kind of just gives you a nod. And he says, maybe one day you'll lay down your burdens too. He goes back to breaking leaves.
That's a fucking ass.
It's weird because like he's an ass, right?
But nicest ass I've met.
But you can tell, like, based off of what you've heard descriptions of how the sword tree changes people's personalities,
Yeah.
like you could see that reflected almost in his attitude based off of how other elves in the past have treated you. When you mention things like that, like it's one thing to be a half elf, it's another to like bring it up in conversation. Right?
Oh no.
Right? No.
Stating the obvious.
Right? No one wants to talk about it. But like he was not rude.
Mhm.
He was just kind of like cold. And yeah, it's weird. Like you can tell that maybe there was something about like how the sword tree has affected his personality as to why he was actually willing to like be even moderately polite to you.
Mhm.
It's almost like a passivity. I'm trying to figure out a good way to describe it. It's almost like he finds you mildly uncomfortable to be around.
He's humoring me.
Yeah, but he doesn't really care anymore.
Mhm.
Yes, it's a good way to. I don't know if I'm describing it, but that's all I
No,
got.
I get it.
Okay.
I totally get it. I think that's
Alright.
That's it.
Yeah, you see Greta coming for you.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
I don't run because I won't get anywhere.
Yeah.
So, and I came back.
She looks older than you remember. I mean, she was never young, but she looks older now. Only been 5 years,
It's only but she aged a lot faster than I.
she looks older now. It's the first thing you notice about her. And she walks right up to you, and she hits you.
Like face, chest,
Yeah, face. She hits you in the face. Open palm.
slap.
But it's a slap, but it's like a martial arts slap.
Like a monk.
Yeah.
I got hit by a monk. Okay.
And
Like,
it hits you on 2 levels because it's the first time that you've ever been struck outside of training here.
like 'cause there's no violence.
Yeah, like no one here wants to do violence. They all still train and practice martial arts because that's what they do. But no one here wants to do violence. It's the first time that you've ever like outside of an accident had someone hit you. And she looks very mad. It's weird. You've never seen her mad before. She says, "How dare you leave? How dare you leave?" Well, what do you have to say for yourself?
We can talk about this in private.
Oh no, I'm watching this all day long.
There's like a dozen.
There's like a ton of people.
Oh, as I'm sitting,
Several of them have like wide eyes.
Like, I'm sorry I left, but I just couldn't take it.
Take it.
I needed to see what was out there.
She's just like fuming. You can just see like the anger on her face. Like
I never would have gotten something like this. He pulls out the fishing rod.
she takes it and throws it.
He's just like,
does it break when it hits the ground?
No, it doesn't break, but it flies like 100 feet.
wasn't very nice.
She starts talking and then she stops, and then she starts talking and then she stops. She's so angry she can't articulate the words. And like
I go
Another-
for a hug.
another monk like comes up to her and is like trying to like calm her down, and she pushes him out of the way.
Just big hugger.
She hugs you back.
Yeah.
But it's a little too tight and a little uncomfortable.
It's
Roll me a strength check.
it's like she's gonna crush me.
It's funny if your
Oh,
turtle head pops off.
like in athletics.
Yep.
11.
Your eyes pop a little bit, maybe even water a little
Like
bit.
my shell creaks.
Yeah. And you can you get a look like she looks older, but then like you look down at her bicep and it's like bulging and veiny. And she pushes you away. She takes a deep breath. She says, "Who are your friends?"
I ain't saying the word.
So that's Flick and Autumn, Leaf, something, and Loom,
So I see you know them really well.
and Henry just came.
It's been a day.
But
and
you
still
and
can't get my hand.
you and Henry know each other.
It's
Apparently.
funny, the one guy he met, Henry, he knows better than all 3 of us.
She says, Henry? Henry Blanton?
Yeah. We just walked in here. Or walked with him here.
Never thought he'd survive this long. And she kind of looks over and you could see him like in an alcove. Kind of gives a shrug. And she grabs you and like by the scruff of your turtleneck and like steers you towards one of the alcoves. You recognize this as being like her alcove that she's steering you towards. The rest of you follow, or are you just gonna let him get dragged off by his mom?
Nope. Goodbye. Everything looks way.
I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there just kind of doing my thing,
Pondering the
taking
leaves.
it in.
I'll let them have their private time. There's no need for me to be present.
She wants to know everything you've done for the past 5 years.
We only have a 3-hour stream.
You tell her the truth.
There's nothing to hide.
Okay.
Yeah, so no, we'll have a completely open, honest conversation.
It's just, of course, you're going to give the offering box back.
Yeah, and he pulls the box back out. I think I don't remember what was in it, but
Oh.
go.
She doesn't even look inside. She just takes it and puts it under her bed.
The box, obviously, it's hers.
She says, well, you can't stay now unless you're going to take the oaths under the tree. She's just as blunt as she ever was.
And it's like, I don't. So does she even notice the weapons? Like he's got he's got the knuckles or whatever, right? So.
That's why she gives you your weapons a look. It says you can't stay unless you're going to give up your weapons under the tree.
Yeah. I know I can't stay.
She says it like expecting that you're going to say, okay, I'll go do that.
I know we can't stay. Or I can't stay.
Her eyes narrow as she looks at you, and you're, for a moment, afraid she's going to hit you again. She says, well, you can at least stay the night.
To be appreciated. How have you been?
Bored. Nothing ever changes here.
That was one thing.
She gets up and leaves. You say that, and she gets up and leaves.
Sassing your mother.
I don't sass my mother. That's funny. I just kind of followed her out.
She kind of silently starts going and getting stuff together for a meal.
Like do the whole like fall into her routine with her and like help her prepare the meal like without even having to say anything.
Yeah.
And I'll wave at the guys for dinner at some point. I don't know how.
Yeah. She at some point after y'all are done preparing your meal, she says, "Go pick up that piece of junk you were showing me earlier.
Yeah.
Don't let it sit under the sword tree."
Don't plant it.
I give up carp fishing.
Fishing rod.
Greta has always kind of been an odd one here because despite everyone else like becoming calmer, I mean, you never knew what she was like before, but she's always had like anger and
So if this is the calmness that she got brought down to.
yeah, what was she like before?
Yeah, no, but raised me all 20 years before I left or whatever. So
At some point, you go to pick up your fishing rod and you see one of the older monks is having words with her. And she pulls out her finger and starts shaking it under his nose.
Shudders.
And you're like, I'm going to stay over here until that conversation's done.
And I go hang out with, I go over there because I don't want none of that.
Hey, I know she's bigger. But I'm probably going to age myself here. It's okay. Movie Twister, where they chase the tornadoes.
Yeah, who are you thinking of?
The one they go visit that's got all the metal cans.
She's got all the all the devices and stuff.
I'm kind of thinking of that kind of lady and the way she treats them all. Like she's stern, but she's friendly.
Imagine a female Arnold Schwarzenegger with gray hair, a big tribal wolf tattoo, wearing a tank top, who
It could like kill you with a freaking flick.
Okay.
who has decided that instead of hurting people, she's instead going to boss people around.
Okay. That's fair.
So that's my mother.
Yeah, Head Moss. By the way, you got my name wrong.
It's Flix.
Yeah, but then like an X there, you know,
Flix.
short for Flixor, you know.
That's okay. She won't care.
I do though. So that's why I was like,
You can take that up with her.
well, you getting my name wrong is the issue here.
All of a sudden,
Not
you hear raised voices, and the finger wagging has gone from finger wagging to screaming at him.
Like you can take that up with her all you want. I apologize.
Oh yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah.
Your ma's
A
great.
little under pressure.
Your ma's great.
Yeah. She's something. He's just watching her from like
She picks up a cauldron out of the fire by the handle and like one-handed carries it over to y'all and sets it in between all of y'all. And
Looks nice.
she says, "Eat."
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask as she's there in the most gracious way possible. I appreciate it. I probably didn't share. Do you have any alcohol or wine? Because this one likes to drink a little bit, and I figure you might have some fine stuff.
She says, "Yeah, we got some stuff."
Huh?
I was never allowed to drink.
They bring she walks away and she comes back and she like rudely like thrusts into your hands a clear bottle of alcohol. The alcohol is clear, the bottle is clear.
Yeah, it's
There you go, sir.
Yeah,
I know how you like to roll.
Thank you.
She says it gets really boring here.
I'll recommend it, Flex.
You're not
What do you
allowed to
mean?
have any.
I
Like
can't.
a
Yeah,
monster.
I was never allowed to.
They gave it to me. I can have it. They gave it
You
to
need
me.
to be cordial to your.
Yeah, like it'd be rude not to drink this.
I wouldn't
Can
drink
you-
all of it?
Can you believe? If someone gives you a plate of food, you gotta finish it all.
Just
Same with the cup.
flip some ball. Do it then.
Just so, what's a church night doing out here?
I was taking care of some undead over at Glassbridge, and Henry helped us deal with save some townspeople, and he wanted those way back over here. So
Why are you traveling with this one?
he just helped save some people with me, and he seems like a good guy.
I even invested in a small business.
Oh, with stolen money.
Huh? Oh, is that how come you roll like that? Man, you should have seen him in this tavern we're in. He was like, chinga, 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 just buying drinks for everybody. And I was like, how in the world does this man have this kind of
You
cash?
just sit there shaking
But I
your
was
head.
like, you know what?
No.
You bought a really
I-
fancy fishing rod.
Shell defense.
She says no one likes Tattletale.
I'm not telling. I'm just telling you of his great escapades that he has done with us.
I already told her everything he says for a minute. He's like, I told her everything.
She takes the bottle out of your hands and takes a big swig of it and then hands it back to you.
And a match.
This stew's
drink
pretty
for
good.
Drink.
Yes,
Like, take a drink. I dare you.
I already have.
it's like Everclear. Yeah,
It's
It's-
need to roll.
it's-
I'm drunk.
yeah. Already.
He's like, I'm drunk.
He is prepared.
Instantly.
So what are you gonna do now? You're just gonna roam the countryside, beating up skeletons, saving townsfolk.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Moss? What is your purpose, Moss, in
I-
life? Everyone needs a purpose.
Moss hasn't had a purpose. He's been wandering.
Yeah, how long are you gonna be wandering for?
He can't stay here. Apparently, he
Kick
will-
him out?
he will
You
clear
could stay here.
Kick him out?
for the sake of the character. I can't stay here.
Kick him out?
If he gives up his weapons, he can stay here.
I don't think he's ready to go.
She's giving you like the stare down. Like if I stare at you long enough, you're gonna do what I tell you to do.
I will never blink.
This is a very awkward meal.
She takes the bottle back from you and takes another drink.
It's like she doesn't say anything about me getting bigger.
No, she
Yeah.
In fact, at some point, she probably looks at you and says, "Eat up. You look like you've lost weight."
Can we stay the evening here?
Yes. She
Yeah,
said
then you
we
can
could-
say the
yeah,
evening.
she said
Don't
we
touch the weapons.
could- said we could stay.
I won't.
there.
They'll find them very interesting. Just like watching them, but that's it.
Yeah.
Why
You
not?
just keep staring at her.
Just curious.
Because they belong to the tree. She says that like
It's
there's an audible period at the end of that sentence.
like it is law.
You almost say that like he says the one from the church.
She didn't.
Never had much to do with the church.
Here before we were.
You taught me well. The what is it? Yeah, I was gonna tell her I wanted to go to the tournament, but that would just be
No, that's what you would do.
I would tell her. I was like, well, I was thinking about going to the King's tournament, but the prince is still the King's tournament, the Prince tournament, the Princess's tournament.
Technically, he's still
I
the
don't know.
prince because he hasn't been coronated.
The Prince's
Yeah.
tournament.
We'll see.
We were gonna. That's where I was headed after this.
You tell her that?
Everybody was asking me. So I was just gonna wander over there. So
She says she's quiet for a really long time.
Turtle Night.
She says if you're gonna fight, you better win.
just like you taught me.
What fun. He killed like 3 skeletons.
I killed way more.
Well, you got to kill at least 3.
I had to kill
I'm glad you guys know. In case it ever comes up this way.
at least 3. Yep. I mean, I got
Can it
the
be
like.
multiple?
I mean, I got these.
Of course.
All right.
These are. He like pulls like has the knuckles and all that stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
The evening goes on. She will eventually leave y'all to reminisce on your own if you want to say anything before bed or ask any questions of anyone else.
So Moss, this is a tree, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Don't touch it.
Does it talk to you?
Yes.
What does it say to you?
Don't touch.
I want the no hesitation.
Yes.
Yes.
It's talked to me. Yep.
Yeah.
hmm Just like everything
What
else.
do you mean? I touched the tree earlier.
Yep.
It said it was okay.
It was don't touch the weapons.
Yeah, I got that. Don't touch the weapons. They're the trees,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
What happened?
They got sucked into the ground.
You're fucking with me.
No.
You're making this up.
It's interesting because you do know that when
No, 100%. Like
people die here,
Yeah.
they get buried in the roots of the trees. Like they dig a grave and they bury them in the roots of the trees. So there are kind of people that have been buried in the tree.
Yep, they get sucked into the ground.
It's kind of half true.
I don't believe you 1 second.
100%.
That utter nonsense.
Mhm.
None.
We know he wants to go try to take something.
None. Autumn, you would never steal a weapon from a tree. Not from a tree.
Only from dwarves.
What were they? Halflings.
Halflings.
I didn't even touch that stuff. What are you guys talking about?
I didn't say he did. I was saying there's a possibility.
What do you guys think Autumn is? Because he got his horns, he's going to take everything?
We've seen him without his shirt. We ain't seen you without your shirt.
Guys,
You should take your shirt off.
guys,
Sure do you think I like
Sure,
to just
I'll take my
things
shirt off.
things? Why?
Huh?
You
Well, you
don't
don't-
me take things already?
Well, no,
Like, you
actually,
don't
I
just
take that back.
anything?
You don't really take things. You always seem to take and give. There's a give and take with you. I've noticed that.
So, I mean, I guess if you took a weapon and put a weapon back, it would be the same thing.
I'm just curious. Like, when have y'all ever seen me actually take anything?
Yeah.
in character. I don't-
In
Oh,
character.
in character.
In character, yeah.
Like,
In
I
character.
feel like y'all are being really racist towards me.
Playing the race card.
The multi-race card.
The multi-race card.
The way you. So for me personally, I have nothing against it. I just like to watch things, and from the way I've watched you act and interact, you seem a very. I'm gonna use this word. I don't know how to use it.
Sus.
Sus how?
Skeletons show up and you disappear.
Yeah, I was trying to get a better
Shooting
vantage point.
arrows. We saw the arrows.
The arrows.
What's wrong with getting a better vantage point and not
No,
being
I
on
enjoy
ground level
jumping.
with skeletons?
I enjoy
I
jumping.
think being on ground with skeletons sounds pretty dumb
I
to
enjoy
me.
being up there.
It was pretty dumb.
Yeah, you got to out.
I saw you get dragged out of a window, and you think I look like I can get dragged out of a window and survive that?
Oh no! I don't disagree. I'm just saying it's the way you move.
I don't understand.
Carefully.
Watch the way you're moving.
With
Like you
intent.
said, he's always watching, always looking.
Yeah. It's always people who
Look,
are having a hard time.
my background makes me think that way. If you understood where I come from, you would understand why I think that way.
Well, you're in charge of your own actions and how you think. Just because you blame it on something in your past doesn't mean you're not responsible now.
I'm just saying.
I'm saying, be nice.
I am.
Bottom.
I am nice. I did. Every time
He's super drunk while he's like,
You're getting like the Blaze lecture from a.
I keep forgetting you're a little toasted over there.
no, not a little. At this point, he is
No,
wasted.
but from that standpoint, anytime he's ever given something, he gives something. So I give him credit for that. I've watched that many a time.
No. Who's gonna touch a weapon?
I bet you won't.
And not I. I won't go near that area. I won't even stand above it. You were a brave man putting your hand on that tree.
I wanted to commune with the tree a little bit. See what it had up its sleeves.
Commune with it?
Yeah, just talk to it. You know, you talk to trees sometimes.
What
You
did,
hear
it,
about
what
people.
did it say to you?
Didn't say anything to me.
Gotta listen to me.
Did you ask the one to help you talk to the tree?
Yeah.
Did it not work?
I think I used the wrong spell. I don't have talk to trees.
You're not secret druid.
Not that kind of spell on my list.
Would be interesting to know what the sword tree thinks.
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
I would really
Lost
like to know that.
Lost knows he knows.
No, you're just an interesting person. Just like keep an eye on interesting people. Just
can't
like you
wait
keep
to-
an eye on everyone.
Like we eat all the food and he wakes up in the
Fair.
pot tomorrow.
That's nothing wrong. Just stop thinking I always just take things.
I didn't,
It's racist.
I didn't say
Racist.
that. So you give it to him. They can give.
That's just a weird way to say it.
I don't even know, like, other than whenever my aunt gave me some rations and I gave her some silver pieces for it. I don't even know when I've, like, taken anything and given anything back. It was just an honest exchange.
You took life, you gave bones.
Fucking with us?
I'm just
He's just fucking with you, man. He's just talking out his butt.
I mean, I took life, I gave bones back.
So the pale light that the sun is giving off now at night, because it never fully goes out, is shining through the leaves, and it's got this like
One's always watching.
one is always watching, except on the one night of the year when he's completely gone. It gives this whole area this weird kind of like blood, red haze to it. Like, have you ever seen those movies where they're like in a submarine and they've got like the night lights on and it's all everything's red light? It feels like that. It takes a while to get used to it. It's a little uncomfortable. Everyone kind of starts going to sleep. Another one of the Brotherhood will come and show you to like actual beds that you can sleep in.
That's fine.
Yeah, your old room is still there, but that would mean you'd have to sleep next door to Greta.
That was the plan.
Okay. And then they'll show you to some other alcoves that y'all can sleep in.
So she
Credit.
kept my room.
She kept your room. Oh,
She loves you.
it is exactly the way you left it.
She kept my room.
Your mom loves you.
Except there is a hole in the wall approximately
Like
the size of a fist.
right at where my head height used to be. Yeah.
And y'all can all go to sleep for the night unless one of you feels the need to stand watch.
I'm gonna go sleep under the swing.
You're gonna sleep under the sword tree.
How hard are you sleeping? Because you're very drunk. If it thinks you're dead, it'll suck you under the.
I'll be fine.
No, I'm joking.
What a way to kill a character.
Eaten by a tree.
Real meaningful.
And that's where we're gonna close it out.
Yeah. Oh, is that it?
That's it.
Alrighty. Well, I guess I don't know what time it is.
It is 9:40.
9:40. So we're a little bit ahead of it. With that, won't be next Friday.
Not next Friday. Friday after.
That's Friday
Big
after.
Halloween Friday.
Will it?
Spooky, scary skeleton.
Oh,
You better have that spooky night plan, buddy.
21st.
Yeah.
I can do something spooky.
Cool.
I mean, you all are under a blood.
under a blood
I was
tree.
gonna
Yeah.
say, no.
All right. Anybody got questions?
Cool.
Anything
Well,
they
I'm
want
gonna,
resolved?
before we shut it down, anybody?
Like, so
No,
we're
no,
like trying to make
we're
a plan for
still
next
on the
week?
screen right now.
No, I mean like game wise.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything they got questions want resolved before the game's over?
Leave my fishing rod near her.
Okay.
So she can sell it.
She can't leave, so.
There's no water to fish
It's
at.
a moment.
Is there
Shut
any
up.
water? Is there water to fish at in this?
There's
place?
a well, but like you're not gonna fish in the well.
It's a moment.
Cool.
You can give her your fishing rod.
I feel bad for spending the money, man.
Oh, write it down.
Get rid of my fancy fishing rod.
All right. I think we are good then. Good night, everybody.
Have a good one.
Yeah.